support, that's pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Herpanmo TV. Well, it's a grim morning in Oxford, very foggy. You can only see the tops of the Dreaming Spires. The weather forecast is bloody atrocious for the whole weekend, but I'm on top of the world looking down on creation, la la la. Yeah, I'm really happy because I'm off to another conference. This is not just any conference, guys. This is a conference in Lytham St Anne's. Yeah, I'm going back to a place I consider one of my favourite places in the world. Lytham St Anne's, Lancashire. Haven't been there for ages. I haven't seen here since Probe sort of stopped its conferences, and Lapis is on our conference hiatus. See just a minute, you see the fog at the top there? It's almost just the top of St Mary's Tower there. The big dick is in sort of like mushy stuff. So I'm off to Lytham St Anne's, and not only that, but it's at the YMCA. That's the primary reason for going to this conference. It's the Mysterious Earth Conference. I'll tell you more about it now.
And this is the event I'm going to, the Mysterious Earth Conference 2024. And as you can see, guess where it is? Look at the venue. YMCA, St Anne's Road, St Anne's on Sea, St Albans Road, St Anne's. Oh wow. I think this is my primary reason for wanting to go to this, because it is at this venue, and you know how important that venue is to me. And here's the various speakers they're going to have. Neil MacDonald, Thomas Sheridan. I know Thomas Sheridan. I actually don't recognise most of these speakers, but I know Thomas, of course. And there's the new Rennes le Chateau movie which is coming out, which shall be good. And that starts at 9:50, right? And then this is just because I'm staying in Blackpool, so I'll need time to get there. And there's this guy, David Molenberg, Wizards that Peep and Mutter. Oh, wow. And there's John Billingsley, Journeys of the Soul. Lynn Picnic and Clive Prince, I know them. And it's more about the Da Vinci Code than more about the Rennes le Chateau mystery. And then Sunday, we have Picnic and Prince again. They're very interesting, actually. They've written loads of books, and it's very fascinating people. The Sound of the Stones. That's Mr. Greg Moffat. Catherine Monk's Book of Enoch on the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, and she's at there's a megalithic site there. And then Kevin Rowland Druitt, Astrology of the Runes. Wow. And that's the end. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. It's just going to be wonderful to go back to Lytham St Anne's. Now that Probe was gone and that Lapis is sort of on a hiatus with their conferences, it's great there's a conference there, so I'm going to that.
Alright, God knows what's going on here. I'm actually going to cross the road and approach the station from the other side, because it's pretty clear these roadworks are moving slowly forward up towards town from Botley Road. God knows when they're going to move this thing, this saucer. I mean, there's guys in Porton Down right now, sort of spinning on their heels and twiddling their thumbs and looking at their watches, thinking, when are they going to deliver this saucer to us? Such is the perils of crashed UFOs. I might actually give Lou Elizondo a ring and say, Lou, tell some of your old mates, get their asses into gear, that sort of thing. Yeah. As you can see, someone is playing the piano. Yeah. They put a piano here in Oxford Station. Either that or she's travelling with it. Okay guys, I'm here at a surprisingly quiet Oxford Station. It's probably the weather's, maybe it's because the weather's bad, I don't know. My train there at 9:39 is on time at the moment, but that might change. But anyway, I've got to go across to the other platform. Now, as you know, as regular viewers will know, I hate travelling by train. It's expensive, it's stressful, it's unreliable. I much prefer the coach. But you see, National Express have completely messed up their schedules. What happens now is, yeah, alright. They can't leave you alone for a second. Like the National Express have completely messed up their schedules, totally. If I wanted to get the coach, I'd have to leave at like, not again. Alright, it's all part of being on a station, I suppose. I'll try and talk through them. If I could get a coach, but I'd have to leave like at, was it 10 to 1 in the morning, which would get me into Blackpool like 7:30. or I could leave like at 2:30 this afternoon and get me to Blackpool about 10 o'clock at night. None of those are any good. They're useless. So I'm gonna have to get the train. There's so National Express, you know, what happened? People who used to watch my old probe reportages will know there used to be a really good ghost service. It used to leave about 7 or 8 in the morning here in Oxford and get you into Blackpool like at a really, really good time. Like 2 o'clock or so in the afternoon, 2 or 3 p.m. Now it's gone. Oh. So that's really annoying actually, that's the case. I'm trying to go somewhere a bit quieter. Got a long time to wait till my train. Gonna look at this building site over here. I think there's another crashed UFO, I don't know about you. So I'm not, you know, if the trains are on time and I get a seat, it's doable, you know. That's the problem with trains, is they're unreliable. They, you know, it's just, when it was raining yesterday, I actually thought to myself, oh my God, are they going to cancel the trains because it's raining? If you remember, do you remember my trip to the Senedd? Look at that. That's good, cool, isn't it? Let me just capture that shot there of that loco going into the mist, going into the fog over there. Look, yeah, look at that. That's very spooky, isn't it? Yeah, very good. Disappearing into the fog. Yeah. Yeah, I had like yeah, I mean, when I went to the Senedd, do you remember my visit in the Senedd video? I had to film it basically in two stints, about 3 months apart, because of the bloody railways. Because the first time I went there, I had to cancel because they just stopped all the trains because it rained a bit the night before, and the West Coast Main Line was like down. Ooh. So anyway, so far so good. I was actually toying with the idea when I was at work yesterday. Of like, just because I hadn't bought my ticket yet, just seeing if I get hold of a coach ticket and getting the 10 to 1 train, just finishing the Hub Hanmo show and going down the station and going down to Gloucester Green, catching the coach. But it's a nightmare journey. The overnight coach to Blackpool is a bloody pain in the arse. I mean, there's so many stops, and it leaves the motorway, it goes down all these windy lanes. You can't sleep. I think this train's going. Is this train stopping here, going all the way through? I don't know. I think it's just going through actually. Oh no, it's stopping. Where's this one going? Doesn't say. Alright. So, yeah, we have like oh, it's noisy, hang on. A bit noisier. So basically, you get on the coach and it's really, really, really uncomfortable. You get to Blackpool about 7 o'clock. There's nothing to do except wander around, half asleep from missing a night's sleep, you know, and being half asleep. It's not much fun. I actually did my speech at Lytham St. New Horizons St. Anne's. I did a speech at New Horizons St. Anne's after doing the overnight coach trip, and bloody hell, never again. I mean, the speech, once I was on stage, you know, the adrenaline kept me going. I was all right, but at the end of that, I said to my host, I said, the people I was staying with, so, do you want a cup of tea, Ben? Nathan? No, I just want to go to bed. I slept like the clock round. So yeah, that's a train just arrived though. So I wouldn't recommend it. I really wouldn't. I would only have done that if there was a distinct reason the trains might be off today, but they are running. So fingers crossed, guys. Okay, I'm on the train now. Just a word of advice, actually. If you're on a train, a long train like this one, go to the very back of the train or the very front. They tend to be more empty, I find. So the population shift of the trains tend to be in the middle. That's where we get most of the seats. And very people often stand in the middle of coaches, not realising there are seats available elsewhere on the train, and they think that the whole train is this crowded. So yeah, I'm off. The train is on time so far. Alright guys, I'm sitting on this train right now. I just purchased I think she's finally off the phone. She spent the last half hour having a row with her boyfriend. She's been swearing her head off, really in a really loud voice. Good job there are no kids on this train. Oh, God, she's been doing my head in. I think she's crying now. God, yeah, she's been having a blazing around with her boyfriend at the top of her voice. But I've got Annie Jacobson's Area 51 book to distract me too much. Although I must say I've got some criticisms of it, which I'll go into another time. No, I've got to get to Birmingham. I've got to go to Birmingham New Street Station. This is going to be tricky because I got a quarter of an hour to catch my connection, which is to Glasgow Central. I've looked it up online. You may think quarter of an hour is plenty of time, but firstly, this train might be delayed. So far it's on time, but even if it arrives there on time, I've only got a quarter of an hour to catch my connection. Which means I've basically got to know exactly where I'm going, because there are different zones as well. It's complicated. Birmingham New Street is a really confusing. It's not only is very big, one of the biggest stations in the country. It's about 15 platforms. It's very confusing. So I try and work out exactly where I'm going online, exactly which platform I have to go to, which zone, etc. before I get off the train. Because I remember one year I had to run, and I caught it like about, I don't know if you remember, but a while ago I actually caught it. I caught this train with like 30 seconds to spare. Another reason why I prefer the coach. Coaches wait for you, the connections wait for you sometimes. It's really, really good. Well, then if they don't, they give you a refund and things like that. Oh man. National Express, get your ass in the gear.
You're not selfish because you didn't pick up and call me when you came home. You're not selfish for feeling like this, but I would never scare you like that. Ever. Ever. That's what's selfish, James. You just said I'm nothing but a disease in your life, but I stayed for all night trying to fucking find you.
She started again.
Can you please fucking say something? You're humiliating me on the screen right now. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you just say that to me? You are selfish. Can you please read the messages I sent you last night for hours?
I don't want to sound cynical, but you know, how many Mr. Nice Guys did she turn down before she chose this character?
Make your way onto the platform.
Well, welcome to Birmingham.
In the direction of travel as we arrive.
This is the bit. I think they're building this for HS2. This bit here.
Birmingham New Street is our next station, folks. In a very short way.
God knows what these other buildings are. I made it on the train. Birmingham New Street is a bloody awful place. I had to get to platform 7 and I could see it, and I walked over towards it, and there's a big glass barrier. There's a big glass barrier, so you can't actually get there. Can't actually get there. And they say you've got to go to the green zone. And I thought, what? Just go through a turnstile, then go through another turnstile to get to the green zone, to get to the platform. I could see a few yards away. And so I managed to get plenty of time to spare. Nearly all the seats on this train are reserved. I managed to find one that's available. Okay. The aisle's really narrow. But anyway, I'm on here. It's the private. That's the private booth. Welcome to Preston Station. This is actually a very nice station. It has this Victorian roof that they haven't replaced, these old riveted stairs and things, so I really like that about this station. It's very authentic, very, very traditional. You can see, actually look, and see there's the mortar between the bricks. You see how it's brown? It's been stained. It's been stained by years and years of exposure to coal soot in the days when they used to have steam locomotives. That's how you know it's authentic. When you get to this point in the journey, the atmosphere changes, because now you go from the big mainline trains to small local trains. I'm going onto the filed main line, the filed local line, which is like a one track line, and it's gonna. I go to platform 1 here, and catch the train to Blackpool South. Now, despite the fact it's actually quite a short distance to Blackpool from here, the railway's intermittent, so I've got to wait almost an entire hour for my train. Luckily I've got that book to read by Annie Jacobson, and I've got my earphones. I've got David Paulides playing in my earphones, and I've got the Disclosure Team and a couple of other good programmes. So I've got plenty to keep me entertained, but I've now got to wait for the train. I mean, it might be better off just going to Blackpool North, but it's really, because like, if you go to Blackpool North, right, you think, well, it goes past Lytham St Anne's, but no, you have to get to Blackpool South to go to Lytham St Anne's, because I always remember that. If you go to Blackpool North, it goes past there, but it doesn't stop. It stops at these places, you see, these three places. So once you get to Blackpool North, I'd have a longer walk, but it'll probably get me there quicker. But there's no rush, actually. I can't check into my hotel till 3, so there's no real rush. So it's got to just wait for my Blackpool South train now. It's a big station, actually. This is big and old and nice here in Preston. I think I may be going around having a look around town, just having a little stroll, see if I'm not going to do it unless I'm not going to do it if I have to go through I'm not going to do it if I have to go through turnstiles, but they don't see, maybe they haven't installed them here yet. We'll have to have a look. And despite the forecast, and despite the really grim, misty weather we had earlier in Oxford, the weather here is very nice. It's actually pretty hot. I'm seeking the shade almost. So let's hope that continues. Oh, look at that. They've still got the old trains. How about that? That's brilliant. Because the ones to Blackpool North, I noticed, are different. They've been replaced by these more modern ones. But these ones are like, they've got these old ones, really nice. I'm glad they kept them. Yeah, I'm on the last leg of my journey, the train to Blackpool South. This train actually goes through Lytham St Anne's. I'm going to find it hard to resist the temptation, actually, to alight at St Anne's itself. But ideally it'd be best to check into my hotel first and travel there afterwards. So it's a little bit of a, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. I must say, you know, there's a bit of poignancy to this particular trip. Those of you, I'm sure a lot of you, if not all of you, have watched my, I think it was 3 or 4 trips I did to the East Anglia UFO group. A couple of days ago, Tony Buckingham died. I can say it publicly because you will be watching this until probably for a few days, and by then it will be announced it'll be announced by the family publicly by then. I don't know what to say really, except you knew him, you saw him, what character he was. Just after Derek Savory died, you know. The team on the other side's getting bigger. To be honest, I'm starting to feel a little bit of survivor's guilt. My side has these very charming children's pictures on it. Let's see here. Very nice. You know where this is? Here we are. Sit hands. Are we down here later? There it is. Place I love. Yeah, I'm tempted to get off, but I'm not going to. I will. International Kite Festival. Kite often mistaken for UFOs. They call it false UFO sightings. Yeah, there's the Sainsbury's. Oh, it's here we are, we've made it. Actually, I love these old trains. I noticed they've refurbished them on the inside, but they're still the same they're still the same on the outside. Here we go. Lovely, the weather's gorgeous. I think when I go to St Anne's, I'll walk along the beach. If it stays like this, I'll walk along the beach, I won't go along the road. And here we are, way out, and this is it. Here I am in Blackpool. You see, the sky's clear, there's not even any chemtrails, and I'm about to head for the seafront now. You may wonder, why am I staying in Blackpool? And the conference is in St Anne's, so why am I staying in Blackpool? The answer is simply cost. There is a Travelodge in St Anne's, as you know, it's right on the crossroads. Yet it's I decided to stay here because the Travelodge at Balmoral Road, which I think is the one I stayed at when I went to, I think it's the one I stayed when I went to Awakening Blackpool. I remember it was £225 for the whole weekend, which is pretty reasonable, it's very cheap. The one in St Anne's is more than £100 more. I don't know why. I don't know why it should be over £100 more in the same firm, same chain, same hotel, almost the one next door, and it's £100 more. So I thought, well, I'll stay at Blackpool South Shore, and I'll simply walk or get the bus to St Anne's for the event. So I decided to save the £100, especially when I realised I was going to have to go by train. Blackpool. It's described by. Well, there's some. I can't really say this when there's other people around. One moment. Described by Jonathan Downes in his book Monster of the Mere as the biggest shithole in the entire world, and that's a quote. And he describes it in lurid detail what he doesn't like about it. I think it's almost unique. I mean, this town is almost unique. If there's one other place in the earth that comes close to resembling it, I'd say it has to be Las Vegas. Las Vegas is bigger and grander, but essentially the atmosphere and the energy is pretty much the same. Las Vegas, of course, is in the middle of the desert. Blackpool is by the sea, but very, very similar. Blackpool, another big difference is Las Vegas is, well, you go to like downtown Las Vegas, it's all pretty much the same. Everything's pretty much like the Blackpool seafront. Whereas in Blackpool, it's that kind of atmosphere, the kind of like glitz and the glamour and the cheer and the good cheer and things like that. It's very much constricted to the seafront. That is the promenade, which we're going to go to now, where we are now, and indeed anywhere that's more than about 20 yards from this promenade has a totally different atmosphere. I mean, you'll know that the place where you get the bus by the coach station, it's derelict, it's virtually derelict. There's hardly a shop open, the streets are filthy, there's broken glass everywhere, there's dog shit everywhere. You know, it appears that there's loads of kids running around the street looking for trouble. I mean, it's a real dive. You come out on the promenade, suddenly you're in Groovetown, you know. So that's what's unusual about this town. That's what makes this town very unique. I don't plan to be spending much time here, actually, apart from sleeping, really. I'll eat my breakfast in St Anne's because I'll go to the Wetherspoons, to the cafe, this lovely cafe by the crossroads. I'll eat my dinner there too. I'm going to try and eat at Salter's Wharf tonight, and then the rest is. This is just the rest should be easy, I think. Anyway, I'm nearly there now, so I'm just going to see what the sea and it's looking like at the moment. The wind's getting up a bit as we approach the sea. There's that's the Irish Sea there. Jonathan Downes says it's like an open sewer. It doesn't look too bad. And I've got to find my way to the South Shore Travelodge, which is the one I stayed at last time, I believe. So, a bit of a walk. I could have got off at Pleasure Beach, actually. Blackpool Pleasure Beach is, that's the pier, that's the South Pier, but Blackpool Pleasure Beach is, I'll show you on the way into St Anne's in a minute, there's a big roller coaster there. And there is a streetcar named Stargate. Remember that? Now, that being said, I'm not anti-Blackpool. I mean, anywhere that's got a Wetherspoons is good. There's another one further north called Albert and the Lion, which I showed you before. So, yay, spoons! Okay, it's actually not the same one I was in last time. I'm a few minutes early, so I'm going to take a little walk up the street because they're very strict about checking in times. It's 3 PM and not a minute earlier, so what am I going in 5 minutes? Something like that. So there you are. Looks a bit like look at those, looks like prison fences and things. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. And there is the pleasure beach just next door. So yeah, that's where I am. Oh, there he goes. Go on, go for it. Woo! Ah! Yeah! Whoa! God, looks like fun. Yeah. Oops, oh, let's just zoom out a little bit. That's better, isn't it? I'm in the hotel, sorted. I'm not going to show you the room and all that sort of thing just yet. First priority, get to St Anne's. And since the weather's so nice, I'm going to walk along the beach. Funny thing is, you know, I've never seen Lytham St Anne's in season. Never. I've always been either at sort of October time or October, March time. And the one time I went there, or no, twice or three times I went there to New Horizons when it was the winter. So it's the first time I've seen St Anne's in the kind of weather where you're supposed to enjoy it. Oh, with one exception. I remember one of the autumn conferences, there was like a bit of an Indian summer, I remember. So that was really nice. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I've never been in September before, I don't think. Never before. Okay guys, there's another issue I hadn't thought of, which I really should have. It's obvious, the tide. It's possible if the tide's too high, I won't be able to walk along the beach. As you see on this part of the beach, it's right up to the coastal protection defences. So yeah, it's banging up at the sea wall. So well, fingers crossed there'll be enough of sand for me to walk along. So guys, I'm on the beach and I'm taking my shoes off. I can't come to the beach on a day like this and not get my feet wet, can I? I need to. I won't point the camera at. There's a lady who maybe will see her. Oh look, this is fun, isn't it? Yes. Just going to have a walk along. Hello, doggy. This is good. This is the way to do it. I'm going to walk to St Anne's now. Another snatter behind me. God knows what that's doing. Here, I think. Get a bit shallow. This is nice. Someone metal detecting over there. My shoes. And there's my feet. Isn't this just paradisical, if that's the word? Paradisical. I mean, I wouldn't swap this for Bondi Beach right now or Waikiki Harbour. Honestly, look at it, man. Look at it, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. I'm walking on the sea's edge and I feel fantastic. And it's, oh yeah. And I'm walking, you can already see St Anne's Pier actually in the distance there. When you're there, because I'm quite a long way out. I think the tide's coming in or out, I can't tell. But I'm right by the sea's edge, so I'm further out than I was last time. Yeah, it's I remember the last time I did this walk, it was either Probe or Lapis, I can't remember. And I had a big suitcase full of books, so one of the wheels had gone on the case, it was one of those wheelie cases. And I was like, I was dragging it along. And it was filling up with sand, I remember, because one of the corners had worn off. And so, yeah, that was, I remember I was taking my copy, I had a copy in my bag, which I've left at the hotel, my bag, not the copy, of Screwed by the Aliens by Timothy Green Beckley, who's sadly passed away. And I told you about how I'd had my dad's girlfriend had sort of, what she'd done, she'd been really rude to me when I tried to give it to her as a present. Well, got good news, guys. You'll already know this if you read a Panmo Voice. I wrote an article a couple of months ago called I Feel Fantastic, right? It was an article in which I reveal that what happened was we were in an email group. There was her, my dad, a few other people, and we were discussing my dad's birthday party, because my dad had a birthday party, and we ended up taking him to London, I remember. And she, like, opened him, I got the camera, and she sort of, I don't know what it was, we started off having an argument about strip clubs in Soho. She said, oh, it's going to be moral, plane landing. it's exploitative, like she's a feminist or something. I did was walking, she might not be. Anyway, this led to a disagreement. It didn't get heated, but something inside me just snapped. Something inside me just went, right, that's it. Snap. And I said to her, look, can I... And I brought up the whole issue of the book and me giving it to her. And also something that happened a couple of years earlier when I told her I voted leave, and she said, oh, what was... She was rich, she's horrible, because she's one of these big horrible Ramonas. And she basically insulted me. Very, very cruelly insulted me. She said, well, you wouldn't... What would you know? Everyone who voted the way you did is stupid, she said, I remember saying. She said, what would you know? You've never run a business, you've never had to do A, B and C. Attacking me personally because I disagreed with her over the Brexit issue. And the dishonesty of it. Just the sheer dishonesty. I mean, obviously, it's typical of Ramonas. It's very typical. The fact that she didn't even realise, you know, this is an ad hominem attack. You just, all I have to do is produce like Tim from Weatherspoons and whatever his name is, Tim Martin, and there's a guy who's run a successful pub chain and he voted leave. Because I said to her, what if someone voted to leave and they had run a business? She said, I doubt if that would happen. I mean, it has happened. Oh, it wouldn't make any difference if I thought of that at the time, because she's not the sort of person who cares whether she's right or wrong. She doesn't care what's true or false. She's just like my dad. I think they're well suited, actually. Doesn't care what's true or false, doesn't care what's fair or not, doesn't care if it's good or bad. And, you know, they're like my dad, she's 100% at home in Clown World. 100%. And so I exploded at her in this email group. I CC'd everyone in. I mean, how much respect has she shown? I mean, you might say, well, that's not really, you should just approach her privately, not do this publicly. Well, how much respect has she shown for my personal sovereignty? She insults me in a bloody dinner table and we're having Christmas dinner in front of like 4 or 5 other people. What do I owe her exactly? And the response was incredible. I mean, I knew she'd be upset, but I mean, God, blimey. I mean, she basically said, she wants nothing more to do with me. She won't come near me again. I'm not welcome in her house anymore. A total and utter, you know, a total utter explosion of like outrage and retort that I think I was pretty polite to her, actually. I just asked, I said, could you please just show me a little bit of basic human respect? That's what I remember I said to her. If you want to read about it, go to her Panmo Voice. I won't link it, you can find it. It's an article called I Feel Fantastic. And I do. I felt fantastic when I did that. I felt on top of the world. Because she fucking deserved it, the bitch. The old cow. And of course, it just goes to show, you know, my dad, he loves women like this. My dad is a complete and total fucking cuck. Sorry, but he is. I feel like I'm taking care of him now. I mean, he's so weak and feeble, it's unbelievable. And he's, you know, being bossed around by a domineering woman for him is a massive turn on. That's why. I thought when my mum died, he'd find a new lease of life, but he hasn't. He's gone out and he found another woman who's exactly like my mum, exactly like her. It's what he wants. He can't be the person I want him to be. I need him to be. All I can do is what I've done. I told her what I thought of her, and I feel a hell of a lot better. And she hasn't spoken to me since. And that was like 6 weeks ago now, so good riddance to her. I'm not going to apologise. I did say to her, I'm not apologising to you. I meant what I said. My dad, he wrote to me, he said, we're baffled and was very upset by what you wrote, by this thing you wrote to us. And I said, if it'd been anyone else in the family, there'd been no problem. It's only because it's me or my brother. We're the silent generation. We're not allowed to complain, you see. And I feel, my dad wishes I hadn't done this, as he would, because his only response to any form of conflict, any form of obstacle, is simply immediate surrender and capitulation. That's all he can do. I can't change him I can't make him into the hero with all the positive masculine traits that a boy wants his father to be like. And I'm not a boy anymore, I'm a grown man, but All of us have a child inside us. It's, you know, our childhood memories are often some of the ones we remember the best. Anyway, I feel a hell of a lot better now. A hell of a lot better. I feel, like I said, I feel fantastic. That's the title of the article. Also, if you read Ben's bookcase, I don't know how much I can say here for legal reasons. You may see some similarity to that story in the latest chapter of the Obscurity Chronicles. Anyway, all I can do, like I said, is the best I can do. Is, you know, I can be different as a father myself. That's all I can do, and I have been. In fact, long before my daughter was born, my daughter's almost 30 now. Long before my daughter was born, I remember clearly saying to myself, when I was being abused by Centaur, when he was slapping me around and humiliating me in front of other people, and my parents were standing there like fucking bollock-aching sheep, doing nothing about it, even carrying on their friendship with him. And it was worse. I mean, my mum shagged him, and my dad had a fling with his girlfriend. It was worse than that. And I remember the night when they were all kissing each other in some kind of orgy. She was just kissing at the time, but it got more serious than that. All I remember saying to myself, if I have children when I grow up, never in a million years, never will I allow what was done to me to be done to them. Never. And my daughter was born, I haven't. I've been a father who is reliable, who cares for her, who protects her, and has her best interests at heart, her welfare at heart, and will do anything for her sake, for her welfare, for her well-being. That was something denied to me when I was a child, and I didn't deny it to my daughter. That's all I can do. I can be the father that I wanted my dad to be, and he wasn't and isn't. I mean, he's 76 years old, he's not going to change his way now. He's still in denial about the whole thing. He's still saying, oh, can't you apologise? Oh, I wish you would apologise to his girlfriend. Oh, I wish you would. Oh, we're baffled, and we're very upset that you did this. I mean, he's not going to change his ways now. I feel, as far as my dad goes, I haven't fallen out with him. I feel almost like his carer now. I feel like I'm looking after him. That's how it feels. So, that just popped into my head as I was walking on this beach, because I remember the last time I walked along this beach and what I was thinking about then. And there in the distance you can see is St Anne's Pier. I love these footprints, look. There's my footprints behind me, can you see? Yeah. It's like that poem, you know. God walked beside the man, but then suddenly there's some footprints. He said, God, where were you? Those are my footprints. I love that poem, I do. And there is St Anne's Pier, coming out over the horizon. And I know I'm here. I know I'm back again. It's wonderful to see it really is. Well, welcome to the seafront, St Anne's. It's a beautiful evening, like I said before. And there's the lifeboat station you can see there. Just behind it is the Salters Wharf, where hopefully I'll be eating something, drinking, or something. It's I'll see how long this takes me. I mean, I think the trip walking across the beach is pretty much the same time. I don't think it's any quicker or any slower than walking on the road through the dunes. But I'm going to have to do this trip again in the morning, so I'll time it. I'll make a note of how long it took. I left at about 3, so I'll know when I arrive how long this takes. Although I might knock a bit off because I waded slowly through the sea. Alright guys, I'm at the Salters Wharf, the Toby Carver. I've got a lovely seat here. More people here than normally, but I don't expect that because it's season. It took an hour and 20 minutes to get here, which is longer than I expected. But as I said, maybe I did dawdle a bit when I was by the sea. I'm not 10 minutes off of that, but and also I'll come further than I would if I was going to the YMCA. So I'm estimating maybe an hour and 10. I'll leave an hour and 10 for it tomorrow morning. Anyway, I'm very thirsty and very hungry. I'm going to break my detox. I haven't had any solid food actually since Monday morning. when that was when I was in Winchester during the last video shoot. And there we are. It's all part of the tradition. Friday evening, whenever I'm in St Anne's. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I have a lovely meal here on the Salters Wharf, and I met David. David here is going to be coming to the conference too. So, what are you looking forward to the most, David, do you think?
Well, just looking forward to hearing old speakers. The sound one interests me, because I know there's a rock star in there in the room.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Yeah. And David, I know David very well online, but I've just met him for the first time, which is really cool. So it's good to meet you, David. And yeah, it's going to be. I'm looking forward to tomorrow immensely. The Pleasure Beach. It's about 7:30 almost. Good morning, everyone. To Blackpool. It's Saturday morning, just coming at 7:30. I feel bloody awful. I've had one of the worst nights of my life in terms of sleep and well-being and sort of like health. I don't know why. I mean, obviously, either this room's got a lot of dark energy in it, or there's something in the air. I don't know, some kind of insecticide I'm allergic to. I don't know. Of course, Blackpool is full of dark energy, but not everywhere. I mean, I slept okay in the other Travelodge, which was it was closer to the venue when this is when I was in the streetcar named Stargate, Awakening Blackpool. First part of the night, I got back very tired. I left David. I walked back to the hotel with him because he has a bit of trouble walking. I got the bus. You know, I didn't bother filming it. I've showed it you before. I might show you again when it's daylight. I got the bus back. Had to walk a little bit from the bus stop because it didn't go too close to the hotel. It's like a 20-minute walk from the bus stop. Got in really tired. I had a pint in the bar downstairs. Went to bed. First part of the night was me lying there in a weird sort of half asleep state. My mind was sort of drifting into weird ways, like it does when I'm dropping off to sleep. But it stayed like that. I stayed like that for hours. I never completely went off to sleep. That's never happened to me before. Never. Then I was awake for a few hours trying to sleep. Finally, as always with insomnia, I finally got to sleep about 5:30 in the morning. And insomnia always does this. It's horrible. I mean, insomnia for some people is an inability to sleep. For me, insomnia is an inability, and only an inability to sleep when I have the opportunity to. All other times, all I want to do is sleep, and that's going to happen today. And that's a real bummer because I'm going to go to the conference. I'm actually getting the train. I've decided to get the train. It's a 9-minute train journey from Blackpool South to St Anne's. We did it the other way yesterday, and I've decided there's one at 8:30. I've decided to just go and get the bloody train. And when I get there, I'm gonna have to select a seat at the back of the room because, as I said, insomnia. When you can sleep, it doesn't let you. When you have to wake up and be alert, you want to do nothing else but sleep. And I'm not going to be falling asleep on the front row where everyone can see me. And the speaker thinks I'm boring them and things like that. So that's a bit of a nasty. It means I'm going to miss a lot of the speaker's content, which is. But what can I do? I can't force myself to sleep. I can't bash my head over. I can't take some drug or bash myself over the head with a hammer. I just lay there waiting to sleep, and it does feel like a dirty trick that it's been played on me because it always wears off an hour or two before I have to wake up. Always. And why did I get it? I don't know. I didn't have nasty thoughts going through my head, which is the usual cause of my insomnia. I got back feeling fine. I felt fine. I had a lovely meal. I had a good talk with David, a guy I've known online for a long time. Never met him. Then came back to the hotel and had a quiet Bulbers or Magnus in the bar. It wasn't much fun. There was hardly anyone there, and it's Travelodge, you know. And then I just came to bed, and that was it. I mean, as I said about dark energy, I mean, this has happened to me before once. I stayed with a friend of mine who lives in North London, lives just north of London in Hertfordshire, who is mentally ill, and I've been to her house twice,
and there are very unpleasant entities. There's very pleasant entities and energy in her house. I don't know if you know Jerry Marchinsky. He used to be a psychiatrist, but he said that mental illness is associated with the old idea of demonic possession and mental illness is real. It doesn't mean it's the cause of mental illness. And I don't believe the old wives' tale, demon possession causes mental illness. I don't believe that. But it certainly is a correlation. It can be found among people like that. And I stayed with this. I felt like I did. I had the kind of night I had just now. Tense, alert, jumpy, half asleep, semi-conscious, feeling like shit. And I know it was because of the dark energy in her house. Maybe there's dark energy in this room. We'll see how I get on tonight. Why didn't I just pay the extra £100 and stay in St Anne's?
Well, welcome to Blackpool South Station, trying to get me in silhouette. Yeah, so the train's on time, so it's just a 9-minute journey. Saves me from fucking around with the buses and walking. I feel a bit better now, actually, now I'm out and about in the sunlight. I forgot my pens. I got my bag. There's my day bag. I got my notebook in it. I haven't got my bloody... Didn't bring my pens with me, so I've just texted David to ask if he could lend me one. Oh dear. If not, I'll just have to buy one in St Anne's. Silly me. I really was not myself. I was really not myself last night, I tell you. I normally don't forget these things. I put them in a pile by my shoes, so I know to take them. Yeah, something's wrong with it. We'll see how I am. See how I get on tonight. It's too late to move out now. I've got two more nights in there, no matter what. So just hope for the best. Here it comes. It just terminates here. Some buffers. I love these old trains. They have been refurbished on the inside with new seats, proper disabled toilet, things like that. But they are lovely old trains. Well, here I am, ladies and gents. Just got off the train there. I'm here in St Anne's, as you can see behind me. It's all looking very familiar. I thought I was going to get away without paying, actually, because there's no ticket office. There is one here at St Anne's. There's no ticket office at Blackpool South. It's an unmanned station. So I got on the train and I'm sure there was a guard, that lady, the conductor, and I thought she wasn't going to. I was waiting for her to come around. I had a note in my hand. I was ready to buy a ticket from her. And she never turned up. I thought, I'm going to get to St Anne's and get off the train without paying. But then, just as before, it was a bit of a near thing, actually, because we left Squires Gate. And she said, oh, what do you want? And she came to sell me a ticket. I asked for a return, which I've got. And she said, I said, you're paying cash? Oh, just got to go and get your change. Of course, so I thought, hang on a minute, and it says, and then the announcement came, we were approaching St Anne's, and I thought, I'm going to have to get off the train. She won't give me my ticket or my change. She wouldn't have had time because she had to go back to her little cubby hole and get the change. She wasn't carrying it with her. Hence the cashless thing, But then I followed her, right, and she was fiddling around in her little cubby hole. And suddenly we arrived at the station. She came out and gave me my ticket and change. Literally minutes, just a minute. This is less than a minute before we arrived at the station. So here we are. All's looking very familiar. Here's the old rock garden, the megalithic rock garden. And I've got these stairs. They're really old, these stairs. Look, it's been here a long time. Again, the atmosphere. I feel better now. Actually, the atmosphere here is so much nicer. It's so much more wholesome than Blackpool. And so we go over this little railway bridge with all the houses built on it, and the Monarch Hotel is on your left in a minute. Seen in many probes, not literally, the probe conferences. I think from 2006 to when it ended, which ended in 2019, I went to oh goodness me, I went to all but about 3 of them. I did miss a few. Oh my god, because so limit time and money meant I had to limit how much what I could go to. You know. Here we are, this is down here is where the Monarch is. So I think I'm going down there for old time's sake. Got plenty of time. It's still 20 minutes till the gates open. Till the doors open, so I'll go down these stairs here. And of course you see, people might say, well, why didn't you go to all of them, Ben? I'd love to have gone to all of them, but I had to make some tough decisions, you know, because based on time and money allowances. I had to decide where I was which ones I could have gone to some others. But I could have gone to, I had to, you know, there was others on like Exapol and things. And I thought if I go to Probe, I won't afford to go to Exapol, things like that. I won't have enough annual leave, things like that. Here's the Fair Mile, where old Tony and Gemma always stay. So I'm kind of like, I mean, this particular event, Mysterious Earth, I booked to come here as soon as I saw it. I mean, I instinctively felt I need to go to this. It was like a immediate emotional, instinctive, like intuitive reaction, and I always trust those. I say you should trust your intuition. It's an instinct that's been honed over millions of years of evolution. It's there for a reason. It's usually right. It's very rarely wrong. And so I said, well, I'm going to that. I'm going to that. And so I I booked this. And then Kerry Cassidy announces Awake and Aware. Guess which weekend? This one. It's going on. No, sorry, last one. It was last weekend. So it's a different conference. Sorry, ASAP. Yeah, but the point still holds. Oh look, the point still stands. You know, it was the same time. Now, the question would be, like, if I didn't see this was when Kerry announced that it was going to be the same time as ASAP Seriously Strange. What would I have done if I'd known it was going to be that weekend? Because I didn't know. So when I booked to go to ASAP, I didn't know seriously. I didn't know A&A was going to be that weekend. I was planning on going. I love that conference at High Elms, as you know. And the answer is, I would have gone to A&A. I think I would have preferred A&A. But by then I'd booked everything for ASAP. And also, you know, Leanne and Michael were banking on me going. I wasn't going to disappoint them. And I did enjoy it, didn't I? I did enjoy it. Here we are, St Anne's Road East. And there is the Monarch Hotel. My home from home for a long time. And it's for sale. That's odd because, you know, it was actually sold, either the lady, what's her name, used to run it. I've forgotten her bloody name now. She sold it to another couple. Now they're obviously selling it, because this was a couple of years ago. That's why I was staying at the Travelodge. The Monarch. When it was under her, Leslie, her name was, when Leslie ran it, it was very, very good hotel indeed. And what it's like now, I don't know. What it's like now, I don't know. Right, are you ready to fulfill another tradition, ladies and gents? Shall we fulfill another tradition? Yes. Let's use the most useless pelican crossing in the world. We've got to do it, haven't we? I bet this hasn't been used since the last time I did it, a couple of years ago. There we go. It's probably, if it had a spirit, it's probably say, oh, thank you, Ben, I was getting really bored. So, yeah. I mean, I feel, this is, like I said, this is one of my favourite places in the world. And I feel, you know, I feel a lot better. All the malaise I was feeling in the Blackpool hotel room is gone. I feel great now to be back in St Anne's. I mean, David's going to bring me a pen to borrow. If he hasn't got one, then I'll just buy one, or I'll just use my memory. Maybe my memory will serve. I find my memory's pretty good when it comes to the speakers, and the notes are sort of like a backup, really, more than anything else. I mean, when I'm reciting my reviews, they tend to be kind of like mostly sort of like from my memory, mostly. Alright, so here we are. Just going to cross over here and head for the YMCA. Right, I'm heading up the St Albans Road, the all too familiar St Albans Road. Not all too familiar, that sounds negative. The all very familiar St Albans Road towards the YMCA. And I'm getting that pre-conference thrill, even though this is a conference I've never been to before. In fact, I think it's the first one of its kind. I don't know. I mean, I know at least a couple of people I know are going, so I'll see people I know. But you know, the megalithic tours people are kind of separate from they have kind of separate from the probe community. Unlike the New Horizons crowd, they're sort of together. You know, these people are separate. But of course, there's a big overlap. I say separate, not completely. There's always overlaps in these things. You know, so for example, Lapis. You know, Lapis is really quite a Fortean, yet. You know, most of the people who go to Lapis also go to Probe and vice versa. So, so Probe is more sort of, as you know, Probe is more sort of like, what's the word? It's more sort of pure conspiratorial, ufological, paranormal belief. Whereas Lapis is more like ASAP. It's Fortean, and by Fortean I mean scientific semi-skeptic, really, which I don't have a problem with. I quite like that. So yeah, and on your left, that's actually a YMCA centre on your left as well. First time I came here in 2006, I got confused and I went to that. And I had to actually knock on the door and someone told me it was actually over the road in what's essentially a sports hall, actually. It's a sports hall. Now there's another YMCA centre. And there's the big crossroads in the middle. This reminds me of the Netherlands, actually, a little bit. And these houses with a very familiar, the unique colour of the brickwork, which I've not seen really outside this town, I don't think, but very rarely outside this town. I remember my first probe, yeah, it was stayed at the Monarch. I remember the room I stayed in there again, and I walked up here, didn't know anyone. I mean, it's my first ever conference. I mean, I knew a few people online I knew were coming, like Ben Fairhall and Ellis Taylor, but generally I didn't know anyone. I mean, I hadn't met anyone. I was just completely, I was a newcomer to the scene. I mean, I'd met a couple of people. See, that wasn't the first event I'd been to. I have been to events before. I went to 2 David Icke talks before Probe, before 2006. I went to a David Icke talk in 2002, I remember. That was in Stoke-on-Trent. I think it was 2006 that I first sort of discovered the conference circuit, and I was hooked instantly, overnight. And this came at a time when, as I've explained before, the whole issue of what we talk about was hurled like face first into my life, because her school, my daughter's school, announced they were planning to take her fingerprints. And of course you can imagine what I said. I said, not a bloody chance. I really told them. I told them very roughly, never. You do not do that. And then, that is really when because up till then I think all the things I've been talking about, the conspiracies and things, and it all been very abstract. It almost been a form of entertainment. And there was a part of me back then, before 2006. There was a part of me that didn't quite believe it was real. There was a part of me that thought, oh, it's a bit of fun. I can pretend it's real and it's a laugh. It gives me something to do. Gives me things like that. But there was a part of me that thought, no, but deep down, this is not real, really. That ended on that moment when the school announced they're going to try and take the prints. Since then, of course, it was soon after that I started Hapanwo. I started the first Hapanwo blog, which is still there today. It's now the main Hapanwo portal. And here we are, at the good old YMC of A. I'll start looking for people I know. Well, guys, I'm in. I'm officially in. I'll show you more of the room later, but it's just open, so we're right at the beginning. Mike and Fran are behind me. I don't know if you can see them. Just there. There's Mike and... Is that Mike? There's Mike and Fran's store. No, there they are. Let's see. You see them there, just there? That's Mike and Fran. I saw them. Also, Thomas Sheridan is here there, you see. There's Thomas Sheridan. I said hello to him as well. He's doing a talk here today. He's got a new book. So I've seen a couple of people I know. and I'm just waiting for some of the others. I've chosen a seat, as you can see at the back, so I'm looking forward to hearing what all this is about. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just seen someone else I know, Penny, and you know Penny well.
Yes.
Your T-shirt, unvaxxed and loving it.
Now,
very,
I'm
very good T-shirt, that is.
vegetarian, and I didn't know that it was a skit on McDonald's advert, and I had to travel from Grange over Sands, where I live, on the train to Leicester. I was going anyway, I didn't have to go. I was going to meet Andrew Bridgen. And Leicester, and I saw him, and he got out of his car, everybody gave him hugs. And there was the tribe that they have got things for sale and things to give away. And I thought, I've got to have that T-shirt.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And you know, Leicester, think about the other thing. The very first anti-vaccination movement in 1885 started in Leicester.
Oh, right. That's,
David Icke was born in Leicester.
he was, yes. That's right.
There's something else. Yeah, Andrew Bridgen's constituency obviously is Leicester.
Yeah.
And when I was teacher training, the university, when I lived in Northampton, that I was linked to, I did a certain, was Scraptoft, Leicester.
Well, it seems Leicester's quite a fateful place for this sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah. It's great. It's great to be back here. I mean, I've never been to this. I think this is the first of its kind, actually.
Oh, I've been to Mysterious Earth
is it?
before,
Oh, right.
yeah. When it was in Windermere many years
Oh,
ago.
right. I mean, hello. Oh, hello there. Hello there. One of the reasons I came here actually because it's in this venue.
I know,
Because I love this.
brings back such
It does,
memories.
doesn't it? I was
you
very,
know
very happy memories of this
And
place.
The energy of our hearts and everything goes into the memory of the water in the ground, in the buildings. It's got everything has a consciousness. And what's happening now is that the consciousness of everything is rising up, and it wants us to go with it.
It is,
and,
yes.
You know, it's incredible. You've got a happy car. But if you don't appreciate and love your home, even if it's a bit of a rubbish, you don't. Mine, I've got cat hair everywhere, so I've got white cats.
Oh.
And also yourself, love yourself.
Yes.
And my gosh, that energy ripples out
It does.
to the universe.
You're absolutely right, and
To the universe.
That's why I do. That's why I do what I do. I've dedicated my life to this.
Well, you've done loads to it. I think I've got DVDs of you.
Oh, you should, yeah, because I've done so many. I've done so many talks and things. Yeah. But
You're
it's.
still working?
Oh yes, I'm self-employed, doing various jobs, and I'm writing as well. So
Good.
I've written my 3 books are still on sale. My 3 main books.
Just look at your website.
Oh, please do, yeah.
Flyers, or cards or anything. You know?
I don't, unfortunately, no. I just help you just Google hospital ports
Yes.
against the New World Order.
If the internet goes down, what have we got? CDs, DVDs, books, and bits of paper.
Well, this is why if I see a film I like, I don't just like buy it on Amazon or anything on streaming. I get the DVD of it.
Yes, I do.
I get the DVD. I always get the DVD of it. And if it's not available on DVD, I will copy it with OBS.
Oh, you'll take
will.
it. I've never done
That's
that.
very easy. You just simply press record on OBS, then you put it on full screen while you're playing it. And
OBS?
I don't know what it stands for, but it's basically a screen recorder.
Oh, right.
So you get what any screen capture software will do, and just put it on full screen,
Yeah.
and then just
you
record
go.
it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's no copyright issue because I'm not selling it or anything. I'm just keeping it for safekeeping.
Yes.
I keep it for myself, just in case it gets edited or the streaming service goes down. Yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah,
tell you, thinking of books and so on, look at Michael Orman.
Oh, he's got his usual book. Yeah, I'm sure I'll get one from his stall.
Well, one of the best ones, honestly, is Zen of Ben. It
Yeah.
really is excellent, and it's not just for children; it's for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
It
and
is, yeah.
laughter is the best medicine.
It is.
And you know the other thing, a hug a day keeps the doctor away. And when I said that to this group, this lady said, "What about the apple?"
That's why they're attacking comedy at the moment. That's why you can't have comedy nowadays. They're trying to stop people laughing.
Well, laughing revitalises your vagus nerve, which is the big nerve coming out the back of your skull, which we've not been told about. It controls everything your conscious mind doesn't. Your sight, your hearing, your heart, digestion, your emotions, everything. And what harms it? Heavy metal and stress.
Yeah.
Stress. But what livens it? Laughing, singing,
Yeah.
having fun, dancing, interaction, you know.
Yeah. That's why. That's probably why so many things in this world are. If they were designed to cause us stress, they couldn't do it better.
No, they couldn't
I
do
think
it.
they are
No.
designed to cause us stress.
Somebody said to me, who was it there? You talk the hierarchy in slavery. If I call it the lowerarchy though, if we
Lowerarchy,
agree
yeah, I
to
like
it,
that.
if we no, the best word in the English language and others is no. I love that word.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really good talking.
You too, Penny.
I
You
like
too.
your t-shirt.
I've got the Basis Project T-shirt.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Miles Johnson. What's he up to?
Oh, he's doing his usual thing. He's doing conferences and things. I went to one a couple of months ago. A really good one. I went to a lovely conference a couple of months ago in Devizes. I was in Pewsey. Really good stuff.
Yeah, because I'm in touch with Joanne Sumscale.
All right, I don't see much of her. I haven't seen much of her lately. She fell out with Miles and went her own way.
Yeah, well, that's okay. The thing is, no expectations, no disappointments. And it's, you just know that from whatever happens, we're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And when things happen that are, this is awful, it's the biggest opportunity for learning and growing stronger.
Yes, it is.
The cup is always half full.
Yeah, thanks, Penny. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no, that's...
The art came to us.
It's Tony.
The mountains called where the art came to us, we call Corridor. This is essentially the traditions throughout the world. In fact, Ignatius Donnelly, who wrote our artists, the ante-living world, spoke to Corridor.
How are you, sir? Hi, Tony.
Oh, yeah, you could have told me you were coming.
Well, just watched the film of Priest Wizard around the chateau. Say more about it later, but of course I missed about half of it because, as I said, last night caught up with me. Also, as is the problem with Pro, sound quality is not very good, as it tends not to be. But the problem is it's too echoey, and they don't have enough speakers. That was always a problem at Probe. But very nice so far. Nice. It's still worth seeing. I still hear enough of it. I saw, as you see, I've seen a few other people. This here is the. You may well recognise this, the Well Community Centre. Good news for a change. This, of course, is where New Horizons St Anne's meets, if you remember that. So we've got about half an hour, then we start with the next speaker. So, the good old YMCA. Well, it's lunch has started. Richard Mullenberg, just give that guy there, who's Tony's holding court with at the moment. He just gave a very interesting talk about ventriloquism, a lot of things I didn't know. I'll say more later, but I learned a lot from that. That was very interesting. He seems to have a slightly sceptical bent, but still, lots of interesting stuff. Now these are lots of Neil's books here, and there's one he wrote with Thomas Sheridan about Sonia. The Mysteries of the Catholic. Malta and Gozo, there's loads of megaliths there. Atlantis. And then you get a megalithic tours t-shirt there.
Did you enjoy David Mullenberg?
Yes, yeah, it was interesting. Quite
It was definitely that, yeah. That's what I thought.
We've just been there, haven't we? Yeah. And that is Sonia's, supposedly a folly, this building he created. Hello. These pictures. And look, you can get these things here. I'll take a brochure. Megalithic tours. Now these are nice, aren't they? Over here we've got loads of lovely horoscopes there. It's beautiful. Pendants and jewellery and things. And my friend David has just bought one of these actually. This is the lady who makes them. Oh, bookshops, bookshelves. No, I'll probably end up getting one of these actually. Because I always buy something, don't I? I have to buy something. Oh, wow. And there's more. Oh, FD, you got a 40 times there, of course. I don't know which ones of these I have and don't have, so I'll have to see what. If there's a real old one, I'll probably get it because I won't have had it. Pagan Dawn, that's an old magazine, used to be out and about. Mind, Body, Spirit, more books. And of course we have this store, this couple are always here with their crystals. You won't know about them from Probe. And they're playing a lovely tune there. And whole magazines, Paradigm Shift, that's a good one. Kindred Spirit. Hello, how you doing? Hi. And this is Mike and Fran's stall. Hello, how you doing guys? With all these books here. I'll probably end up buying something from their stall, I expect. Oh, the Beatles, yeah. UFO conspiracy. Oh, I've got to see that. The Pennine UFO mystery. Wow, by Jenny Randalls. That's before she went all skeptic. Ah, she's gone skeptic now. Peter Paget's book.
This is a scarce book, man.
Right, yeah.
Really scarce. So I only found two available to buy.
Very scarce red. All right, I'll have a look at that. I might get a copy of that, Mike, because how much is that? Well, it's a rare one, isn't it? I suppose fair
It's very, very rare. I got
Yeah.
50 quid on it.
Oh wow, blimey!
Yeah.
So that's like an antique.
Yeah, there was only one. There might have been one in the world that I found.
Whoa, yeah.
But
And it's-
no one's going to pay that.
You have to auction it, I think.
Well, I don't know what to do with some of the... I'm going to get rid of a lot of this stuff.
And there's Mike's own Zenith Ben. I've got that. And Does It Rain Other Dimensions?
Yeah.
And we've got here the Hidden Store. Oh, wow. That's Mike's store. Let's see what's over here.
I wasn't good at the working about it.
Oh, look at these. Oh, it's beautiful. It's lovely.
In the station.
That's like a kind of...
And then I walked a dog.
It's like Slender Man. It reminds me of Slender Man. It's got ranger antlers that way, like Herman the Hunter. Oh, these are lovely. Did you make these?
Yeah, all my design work.
Oh, wow. They're lovely. This is away from... I'm trying to work out... Oh, it's a book. Oh, it's a book.
It's a book of my last 8 years worth of artwork. You can have a leaflet if you want.
What did I do? Oh, I just dropped one, I think.
All phone.
I just dropped.
And
I've just dropped another one. I'll have to go back and get it. But thanks very much. Oh, these are lovely. Oh no, I've got it under my arm. What am I talking about there? Oh, beautiful. Right. Peter Jankowski.
Yeah, you got
Oh,
that
right,
right.
cool. Oh, look, you get a... That is really nice. That's really nice. That reminds you of crop circles.
They're all Neolithic symbolism. They're all the patterns in the background are taken from 5,000-year-old rock carvings
Oh, right.
from around England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales.
Yeah, like I know they've got like spirals and things like that, and they, yeah, I've heard about them because they. I think they were trying. It may have been like an attempt to create a written language because they did use paper. Or if they created paper doesn't last that long.
No.
So that's it. Because a lot of cultures people think are illiterate actually did have a written language, but they just wrote it on paper. Or something like that, something similar, and it didn't last. So,
or even cowhide or anything like that. In the soil, you got like 10-20 years maximum.
yeah, that's only stone engravings really last, I think. Yeah. Oh, lovely! I'll have to see. I probably won't buy anything till tomorrow. I'll have to choose what I'm going to buy. So, and these are nice. Look, jewellery. Jewellery. And this here is this book here. This is. Hi Thomas. Hello.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah. That bloke didn't look anything like me. He's about a foot taller than me.
That's good. So
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. This is a Hocus Pocus.
and decide.
And this is not
happen.
Are you Sarah?
I'm Sarah, that's Thomas.
Oh right. Yeah, I know Thomas. Yeah. I've known Thomas for years.
The other half there, did he come?
No, he's working.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
This is Thomas's book and Sarah's book. All right. Ontology in High Strats looks just up my street. Yeah, nice.
Dr. Neil Rushton got checked in for me.
Oh, is he?
Archaeologist, I mean.
There's a forward.
Buriologist, mythologist, folklorist. He did the beautiful intro.
Yeah,
Show. You should check out Hair of the Hawthorne. Have you seen it?
What's it called?
Hair of the Hawthorne. Him and a lady called Kate do a thing on like folklore and like fairies and interdimensions. It's fascinating. You'd love it. You'd be right up the street.
Yeah, I'll probably get old. I probably won't buy anything till tomorrow. Can I show? Can I tell my viewers I've met you? Can I tell my viewers I've met you? You've seen him before. He's here again, Thomas Sheridan. Yeah, Thomas Sheridan, and that's his a co-author there. So I won't film you. I won't. You don't mind? Oh, that's Sarah, his co-author. So
Sarah Mondaini.
Sarah Mondaini. So well done for you. Congratulations on your book, both of you.
Thank you, Ben. Are you enjoying the show the conference so far?
Excellent stuff. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. You too, mate. Yeah, take care. Bye bye. And that was the stalls. I'll just show you the front bit here. I'll show you. These are megalithic tours. Neil's megalithic. Oh, sorry, I went in front of the. Oh, I went through and there's. Just looks just up my street, doesn't it? It's just perfect. And here we are, 20 years on the road. And that is the area where we are at the moment. That is basically the. I've just shown you all around this lovely venue. We've got this lovely auditorium. And there's the ceiling, yeah. Oh,
sorry,
that's all right. No, it's all right.
I thought it was a link to the interview.
Oh, sorry. What's the? I see you before somewhere.
It's Truth Juice. You went to Truth Juice.
I did, yeah. Which one, Birmingham?
Yeah.
Yes, I did my talk about zombies.
We saw you here as well.
I go to this place all the time. What's your name?
Heidi. And Fred.
Yeah.
We did the Truth Juice gathering in 2013.
Yeah.
So.
I thought you looked familiar. And
then we.
Do you want to be on Panwo TV? Do you want to be on Panwo TV?
Yeah.
What?
Show you to my viewers. It goes on YouTube. Do you want to be on YouTube?
I don't mind. I don't care.
It's Heidi. Hey, how do you do?
Hiya.
Another attendee at this wonderful conference we're at.
It's a really good conference, and if you're not here, you're missing something.
Yeah, definitely.
You definitely miss. We just had a really good chat off this gentleman. What was his name? Because
Beardsley. What's his name? Billingsley.
Yeah. Really.
You want to see my T-shirt as well, Ben?
Oh, you? I've seen it. Oh, yeah, of course. This is to Peter Kay, apparently.
I'm getting the word.
It's signed as well signed by him.
Nonce.
All right.
The spirit doesn't lie.
Yeah, because he's basically a fake medium. I mean, I know Peter Kay, but I don't know
fake
that
medium.
You got I like yours as well. You got like that's beautiful.
This one's cool. This is actually because it spins. Hold on, there you go.
Oh, it's like a Merkaba.
Not like a sacred geometry thing.
It's a Merkaba. You got like the Mjolnir as well.
Yeah,
the Hammer of Thor.
Yeah, it's just because I do Viking.
Ben? Lovely. Yeah, it's actually the crop circle like that. Yeah, I'm having a wonderful time here. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I remember because I did talk to you about zombies, and I offended someone so badly they walked out. I remember. Yeah. Was it? Were you at that one? I did talk about zombies.
I haven't been to Truth Juice for a while now, actually, but I did Truth Juice very early when it started, and then I haven't been for a while because I've had a few other things on. I've been into Vikings and stuff like that, but
nice.
And it's nice because I've been doing animal things. I'm not horse and foal, so I haven't been able to attend anywhere. So this is the first time I've been able to attend anywhere for a while. So it's been really good.
I've missed this place actually. I've got such happy memories from being in this room.
Yeah.
And it's great to be back.
And it's nice just to get. It's just nice to be around people that think.
I know.
The same, and it's because in ordinary world, if you want to say it, or whatever world, normie world or whatever, sometimes it's just a bit too stressful with lots of different things because you try to talk to somebody and somebody takes you the wrong way.
Yeah.
Not because because your mind's in this mind and their mind's in a different world.
Yeah, but you have to live a double life. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just saying this to David.
And it's stressful.
You have to live it. Yeah, it is. It's here. I don't know. I can be myself here. You see.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
and
why I
you
love
really
it.
let go, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
And you can relax.
It's quite a lonely thing to be into this sort of thing. It's quite lonely.
I feel lonely by it because.
Well, not in Birmingham because you've got like a good community. In Oxford.
Saying that, I haven't been to Truth Juice or anything like that for a long time. I've been dealing with other issues like life and stuff. So
I mean, is the group still going? Is the group?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We're very good friends with Andy and Claire.
If they want to put me to speak again, I'm happy to do another talk for them. I thought it went down very well.
Just because I had somebody who passed and it was cancer and it wasn't really. I couldn't really do the Truth Juice things because people were into like taking wacky and stuff for it, and it wasn't just I couldn't do it.
Can be distracting. Well, it's the urine drinking I can't stand.
My friend had done all those things and.
I can smoke back. It's the urine drinking that gets me. No way am I doing that.
My friend who died quite young. she'd done all those things, and then people were saying, well, she should do this and do that, and I had to leave. Because that was a part of like what they call truth thingy bob that I just couldn't do. Because sometimes, you know, disease is a bit more complicated than sometimes that people say, oh, you take a bit of you know, cannabis oil or something and you cure with it. It's just that you just somebody said something to me and I had to just get out of it because I was in a good place for a while.
But I appreciate you talking to my viewers and
yeah, sorry.
TV.
Where is it? What TV?
Hapanwo TV. It's on YouTube, and you can watch Hapanwo. HPANWO.
Write it down.
Just one sec. Yeah. I need to get some business cards done. So you want to have a quick look here? But that's the. Oh, it's gone. There's some. Oh, it's gone. But there was basically a dick pic in this painting. I can't believe it. Yes. But it's this lady here and the gentleman over there, Clive Prince. He's there, just there. They told us all about the really interesting stuff today. Yeah.
The second thing they say about it is he's very, very funny. And the third thing they say is, oh, well, he's a really good painter. So that was how they got it. Good looking guy, hilarious. Oh, he can paint a bit too. You know?
Yeah, I remember he's an amazing chap. I mean, I know people laugh at his machines he designed and say, well, that's like the aeroplane, the helicopter and things like that. I think he's say, well, that will never fly. But he knew that. He was demonstrating engineering principles. He wasn't trying to build. It wasn't supposed to be designed for something. What's the word? Something practical. And he wasn't stupid. He was very, very clever. He's brilliant. Yeah. Well, thanks so much. I really learned a lot from that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we left the YMCA. I'm here with Miriam, who you know from previous videos, and we're just going to relax this evening, go have dinner and things like that with our friends. So looking forward to that. And welcome to the St Anne's seafront. It's a lovely evening, about 5 or so, and you can see there's the lighthouse, the lifeboat station there, and across in the distance the River Ribble. You can see Southport. The sea is a long way out. We've got a massive there's a massive tidal set here, a massive tidal differential here, huge beach, and the tide is right out at the moment. Of course, is the pier and the famous breakwater, which is a symbol of living St Anne's. I've got some time to. I've had an ice cream, so I'm quite happy now. I'm sitting on this bench here, as if I'm a spy waiting for my instructions. I might be, for all you know. I thought I'd do a little bit my piece to, my voice to camera or my face to camera session where I go over the day's speakers now, because we're not meeting in the Wetherspoons until 6:30, so plenty of time. There's a football match going on at the moment. It's England versus Ireland, which should be about halfway through by now. So the Celtic victimhood delusion will be in full swing. So I thought I'd go over the whole. I'd go over the speakers, or what we saw today. The first was the new film that's been made by Neil MacDonald of the Megalithic Tours, and that is it's called The Priest Wizard of Rennes-le-Château, and it talks about this new documentary that he's made, and they screened it, where he actually goes to, because he does tours of Rennes-le-Château and places like that. I mean, see, the Rennes-le-Château thing I thought had kind of gone out of fashion a little bit, but it's still alive in many circles. And he gives a kind of a video tour of the area, which is a fascinating little place. It was almost unknown, a tiny little French hamlet in the south of France, as obscure as you can imagine, totally off the tourist route. Then in 1982, Holy Blood and Holy Grail comes out, and then it gets it's inundated with tourists. I think the locals are probably a bit annoyed about that. And just when they thought it was all over, Dan Brown publishes the Da Vinci Code, and it starts again. And it seems to have died off a little bit now, but it's a fascinating story about Béranger Saunière. Now, this was the priest. He discovered something. No one knows exactly what it was in the old abbey, in this ruined abbey, and people thought it was some parchments with some instructions and things like that. There's a lot of evidence that the church
proceeded to have a cover-up. All we know about Saunier is that he became very rich through means we don't exactly know. I mean, see, priests can make a lot of money by, because believe it or not, they sell sacraments. Oh, dearie me. Lord Jesus Christ, deliver me from your followers. It's the only prayer I ever say. Seriously, but yeah, priests can actually sell sacraments, like things like that. I remember my uncle actually bought it. I mean, he actually bought his divorce. I mean, he got his civil divorce, obviously, but he bought his he bought an annulment off the church. Imagine the priest. If this man pays me enough, I'll tell God to make your marriage null and void. And God goes, all right then, has he paid you? Okay. Right, you my son, your marriage is no longer applicable. Yeah, God, that's grief. Anyway, so priests can make some money like that, but nothing like what Saunier made. He built he created a number of buildings. He had so much money, including some that are still standing today. He built a new house for himself, which is very famous. It's like a small little mini castle, and we don't know exactly what happened. We do know that when he was lying on his deathbed, the priest attending his death, he confessed. He made a last confession to the priest attending his deathbed, and we don't know exactly what he said, because these things are always kept strictly confidential by the priesthood. But once he'd made his confession, the priest refused to give him last rites. And the rest is discovered is in the book. About you learn about the bloodline of Jesus, etc., etc. There are clues in art. For example, there's the tomb of Poussin's tomb. Now, this has been, unfortunately, he's no longer there. It's been broken up. But there's a painting of a tomb, like a grave, with people around it, by Nicolas Poussin, famous French painter. And in the background, you can see Rennes-le-Château. And people say, well, why is that in a like 17th century painting or whatever? There's a book. I mean, it's covered in a book by a famous art historian called Anthony Blunt, who ironically turned out to be a spy. So Rennes-le-Château is completely unique. I mean, there's all kinds of things like the church. The church has the Stations of the Cross anti-clockwise. There's no other church in the world has that. Things like that. There's Asmodeus, this demonic figure depicted in the church. There's a Black Madonna, things like that. Fascinating story. Now, unfortunately, I did miss some of it because last night's ordeal did catch up with me, and so I did sort of like a little bit. Yeah, that's why I chose a seat at the back. In the Q&A, someone said there was a connection to Harry Potter and also the ring. Now, the ring symbolises eternity, apparently, because it's a circle, which it goes into things like J.R. Tolkien about the way that the rings play a big part in the Lord of the Rings, obviously. And so Neil does these tours every so often. Now, the second speaker was David Malmberg. Now, he did a history of ventriloquism, and he did some demonstrations of how he could do ventriloquism. This is an amazing thing. I've never quite worked out how it actually happens, but it's all to do with people misjudging the volume of sound, which is strange because it can't work when you're too close up, because then you have like a stereophonic effect, which means you know which direction the sound is coming from. But the ventriloquist not only can make these sounds without moving their lips, but they can make the sounds at different volumes, so you think it's coming from a different place. Oh, hello again. My friends have just turned up. Hello. I'm just doing my little reportage of my little report on today's speakers. So,
Yes.
It's been a lovely day, isn't it?
Excellent, yes. We're going like the Carvery if you care to join us.
Oh, well, thank you very much, but I'm actually going to the Wetherspoons tonight. I went to the Carvery last night. I went there last night, had a lovely meal. It was very nice.
Right, we shall see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, yeah. Take care, enjoy yourselves. And apparently it has, I didn't realise this, obviously it's used for like cheap entertainment today, popular entertainment at seaside. A place like this at the seaside, you get a ventriloquist performing. But it has ancient roots in occult, and the word means belly talker. I didn't know that, blimey. The word ventriloquist, ventre, is French. Obviously it's Latin derived. Ventre means, I should have guessed, because in the Romance languages, the stomach or belly means ventre and stuff like that. It was poemed by someone called the Witch of Endor, who does not look like an Ewok to me. And Pythagoras actually could make streams and trees talk. Now this is, I think this is an effect that I've often noticed myself. Like, if they're not actually talking, what happens is, when you listen to a regular sound, background noise, very loud background noise, and I had this effect when I'm sitting in the car on a long journey on a motorway, I can hear the engine noise. After a while I can train my brain to hear music in the car engine. And it's always, funny enough, it's always Cheer Up Sleepy Jean by the Monkees. But I can hear it really in the and then he said that ventriloquists, he does demonstrations, and then he did another demonstration with a mobile phone. They can simulate psychic communication. And there's a guy called Philo of Alexandria, and he said this is obviously similar to modern spiritualism, because a lot of skeptics, of course, will claim that modern spiritualists are simply using ventriloquism to fake the presence of spiritual voices. It's all tied to necromancy. Now, necromancy is an old word. It's a Greek word for communing with spirits. And drugs are used there. There's this thing called the necromantion, which is an underground chamber. And apparently the attendees would use drugs. And we see this with the oracles as well. The Oracle of Delphi, the Oracle of Dodona. People who attended these oracles, these mystical women who floated in water, they would take a brew beforehand, which we don't know what the ingredients were completely, but we knew it contained goat's cheese and rye, and there's always a speculation that the rye was poisoned with ergot. Ergot is a fungus that grows on rye, which is left unattended, and it's very, if you ever have rye and it's got ergot on it, throw it away because it's extremely toxic. But as Albert Hoffman discovered, it's possible to set, if you can, there's the poisonous chemical in ergot, but there's also another one which he synthesizes, LSD. And there's always been a theory that the people who took this brew with rye in it were the ergot. Actually, they found some natural way to separate the toxic ergot agent from the natural form of LSD, and so the people were actually taking LSD before they went in to see these oracles. That's he didn't mention that. That's something I thought of. He mentions visions of half lizards, half humans, and that there were apparently fake monsters as early as AD 50. He mentions Alexandria of Abonataticus and Apollonius of Tyre. Now, Tyre is, I think, the River Tyne, and he refers to more modern cases of fake dolls and idols which appear to speak, and there was ways and means of actually making them speak through a speaking tube, and he believes that some of them were fake, and the ancient priests faked this effect. Now, the skeptics have always said this, that a lot of, even in the old days, people used to fake stuff for the same reasons that modern psychics do, according to them. But in the same way that I don't believe that all modern psychics are fake, I don't believe that all the ancient psychics are fake either. But he mentions the Cottingley Fairies. Now, I don't know why he mentioned that, because the Cottingley Fairies was a photograph. It's nothing to do with ventriloquism. What happens is, in 1915, two girls from Yorkshire decided to fake some photographs of fairies. They made the fairies very easily out of, they drew them on bits of paper and cut them out. But apparently Arthur Conan Doyle believed them. I think this was on a day when people were more naive about photography, because they really didn't understand that photographs could be fake. It was quite a new technology in those days. And it was also because of the war going on at the time. It was a good way to boost national morale. So the Cottingley, the two girls became celebrities, and the fairies became famous. It was all fake, though. There's a statue of Anubis with a moving jaw now, and he says that this is because it was used for the priests used to make it appear to talk through ventriloquism. However, apart from the fact that it has a moving jaw with a hinge, which can be made to move, that does not prove that it was used for ventriloquism. And There's something called the Memnon Colossi, these two giant statues in Egypt. Apparently one of them makes noises. Now, he thinks that's caused by thermal expansion. Where are we now? Apparently it's forbidden by the Bible. Deuteronomy 18, Isaiah 29 forbids the conjuration of spirits and the communion of spirits through mediums. So it's forbidden in the Bible. Which is to be expected, of course. I mean, it's a lot of Orthodox religious people believe you can only commune with one spirit, which is God, through prayer. The spirits of the dead have to be left in peace until you join them in heaven. Now, someone asked in the Q&A. Someone asked, "Is EVP ventriloquism?" This guy then, because I was starting to think this guy was a bit of a skeptic, you know, because he was talking. But I think he may only have been a bit Fortean, because he actually replied, "No," and of course it's not. EVP is not ventriloquism. Electronic voice phenomena is something very different. He said the electronic voice phenomena is something very strange and it's real, but it's not connected to ventriloquism. Someone said, "Do ventriloquists think of their puppets as real in the same way that?" A sailor will often attribute a personality to their ship, things like that. And he said no, not really. I don't know if that's true, because Rod Hull spent so much time with his hand up Emu's bottom that they must have developed a bit of intimacy for this inanimate object. I mean, I would, surely. And someone asked about the bicameral mind, which is very interesting. John Billingsley, now he's written a book called Journeys Between the Worlds, and he talks about the cunning folk of old. And apparently, because even since we became Christian in this country, we had cunning folk in our villages, in the small villages. Cunning folk this was someone who lived on the periphery of every community, usually elderly, usually female, who was not accepted but respected, and this would be like the witch. So this is where the archetype of the witch comes from. But apparently it was not actually the Roman Catholic Church who suppressed the cunning folk. It was the Reformation. It was after the Reformation, the rise of the Church of England. Yeah. And he mentions the word course. Now, there's the word C-O-U-R-S-E is a word meaning like a race course or something. There's another word, C-O-R-S-E, which apparently is Old English for a dead body. And there's like causeway, and there's words like causeway. Now, these are actually connected not to the word course, but to the word for a dead body, because these were used for funeral processions. And he claimed that local history is a form of ancestor worship, and the purpose of the causeway was to sing the soul home to the afterlife. It's interesting. I mean, unfortunately, my drowsiness caught up with me a bit during that talk, but not because it was boring. But final speakers, Clive Prince and Lynn Picknett. They're quite famous actually in the esoteric world. They've been authors for over 30 years. The Da Vinci Code, 20 years on, and it is 20 years since the Da Vinci Code. Can you believe that? I remember I read the Da Vinci Code. I've not covered it in detail. As I said, the Rennes le Chateau thing has kind of gone out of fashion a little bit, but it's still there. And it's 25 years since their book, The Templar Revelation, which apparently inspired Dan Brown. And it raised... And what Dan Brown did, as well as Picknett and Prince, was raise important issues about the honesty of the church. Is the church lying? And because according to the book, there's a secret society called the Priory of Sion, which is guarding the bloodline of Jesus. and apparently the sacred feminine was not in Holy Blood, Holy Grail, and Lynn said it was in her book about Mary Magdalene. And he said there's lots of things encoded into information into Da Vinci's art. And she talks about the Dan Brown lawsuit. Apparently, two of the authors of Holy Blood, Holy Grail sued Dan Brown, which is a bit stupid because they sued him for copyright infringement because they say he plagiarised their ideas. But the thing about it is, Dan Brown's book was a novel, and Holy Blood, Holy Grail was a historical textbook, so you can't copyright facts, and indeed these guys lost the case. It was a stupid thing to do. I think it's got a lot to do with envy, or writers are actually extremely bitter, envious people.
And I can almost guarantee it, that if Roswell Rising and its sequels ever became international bestsellers, I would be sued immediately by about probably half a dozen people. Of course, it's a relevant lawsuit because I don't believe I breached anyone's copyright, but they would try. If only I was just out of envy, just to hamper me and slow me down, you know. And he talks about the encoding in the Last Supper mural, and that's very well known. That you know, St. John, the St. John in the picture is actually female, and also one of the others is Leonardo da Vinci himself. And he did put himself into his paintings, Leo. I mean, the Mona Lisa. No one knows who that woman is in the Mona Lisa painting, his most famous and most precious painting. It's him in drag. Believe it or not, yeah. And he also mentioned the Turin Shroud. Now, I've recently covered this on a Panamo Voice because they believe it is actually an ancient photograph, but done by Leonardo da Vinci. It's not only done by him; it is him. It's a selfie. Now, this is odd because the first permanent photograph ever created was created in 1823 officially. This is 300 years earlier. So, wow, that's quite something. If that's true, you know, it's quite amazing. But I mean, the Turin Shroud is an extraordinary object. I mean, it's one of these things that shouldn't exist but does. It has a photographic negative of what appears to be Jesus. But is it photographic? I don't know. You see, there's no trace of any photographic chemicals on the cloth, as far as I know. So if Da Vinci did it, he did it with a method that's not used by modern photographers. And he's never confessed, and no one's ever said anything. The Nag Hammadi scrolls, the Gnostic Gospels, which have Mary Magdalene as a far more important character, a very different character than she is in the traditional Gospels. You know, the priest, the prostitute who asks for forgiveness. The thing is, like, when those scrolls were found in their alabaster jars, I think there was a suppression of a lot of them, because according to the official story, the people who found them sometime in the 1940s in Israel, there were about 3 jars of them, right? And they took 2 of them to the museum the following day because they realised they might be historically valuable. But the 3rd jar, the previous night, they burnt it on the fire to keep themselves warm. No. You don't burn something on the fire and you think, oh, this is very, very valuable. We should take this to the museum tomorrow. You know, you may be able to sell it for a lot of money. But let's just take 2 of the jars in and burn the 3rd one on the fire. Burn the scrolls on the fire. No, I don't believe it. There was a cover-up. Whatever was in that 3rd jar was suppressed. I think it's probably in the Vatican Library today, or in the basement of the Bodleian. Apparently, there's all kinds of things like the other apostles were jealous of the love that Jesus had for Mary Magdalene, and also that she was a priestess as well as a wife, because Jesus confided in her things he didn't tell the others. And apparently, you know, the others hated her. Simon Peter tried to kill her, apparently. And Mary Magdalene, you know the story about Mary Magdalene, you know, pouring the precious balm on the feet of the Lord and wiping it away with her hair. That's an anointment. John the Baptist didn't baptize Jesus because he'd been anointed by Mary Magdalene. They mentioned the 3 kings. Now, this is quite well known. It's not just P&P who thought of this. The 3 magi, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, is symbolic. The gold represents royalty. The frankincense, the sacred, the holy of the temple and the synagogue. And myrrh is what they use to anoint dead bodies. So it's his destiny. He's the king of the Jews. He's holy. He's the Son of God. He's the Messiah, and he's destined to die. They talked about the John the Baptist photo. Again, this is a very homoerotic picture, a youthful, very, very sort of androgynously good-looking John the Baptist, with his finger pointing upwards and a smile on his face. That expression can also be found in another painting by Leonardo da Vinci. What's interesting is that I don't think Dan Brown, you see, is as much as a rebel as people think he is, because if you ever read Angels and Demons, which is it's a rubbish book actually, it's nowhere near as good as Da Vinci Code. Angels and Demons and there was a film with it as well, which wasn't very good. That was a pretty lousy film. But Angels and Demons
it's actually very pro-church. It's very establishment as far as the Catholic Church goes. Lynn Picknett is very. She seems to take the very classic feminist line about Mary Magdalene and the divine feminine, how it ties into modern political feminism, which, of course, I object to, as you know, for various reasons I've explained. But she showed one. She ended with something that's rather shocking and quite funny, actually. One of the paintings of Leonardo da Vinci is the Virgin of the Rocks. We see Mary Magdalene, John the Baptist, and Jesus, because John the Baptist was Jesus' cousin, and they're sitting in a field in a garden playing, and above them are some rocks. Well, if you take a look at the rocks and look at the shape of the rocks, you'll see something rather make you blush a little bit, because it's a dick pic. You see a penis and two testicles. I told you Leo had a sense of humour. once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. That's the thing. Anyway, that was the speakers for day one here, and rather than doing it in the darkness of the dark energy of my hotel room, I've done it here in this place, which is the exact opposite. As for my hotel room this evening, obviously, I can't change. I can't get into a new room tonight. I'm going to go back to it. But I hope I have a better night tonight. What I'll do is I'll make sure I say some protection spells before I go into the hotel. I think that's the best I can do. Anyway, right, off to the Wetherspoons for food and drink, and to make merry with my friends. Hey guys, I've just come to the Glendower Hotel with some friends, and you can see it's a very, very posh thing. This is the Speakers Hotel, so we're sort of hanging out. I had a good dinner. I had a nice dinner at the Wetherspoons, and just waiting to see if we can get a chance to speak to some of the speakers, so we'll do that. Back in the hotel, I'm actually going to say a protection spell before I go in now, because as I said, I don't know what it is exactly in there, but now protection spells can be almost anything you want. Just it's more like an intention. You can visualise yourself surrounded by a big fence, or you can appeal to an angel, or anything like that, or you can just. I'm just going to say like a standard Christian prayer, even though I'm not a Christian. Okay, so I'm just going to imagine myself surrounded by a big fence with like guards walking up and down. Okay. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Unlock. I'll turn the viewfinder around. So I want you to be able to see this. So there we go. Right. And there it is. Alright guys, so see, it's like there's mirrors. See, like Rosemary Ellen, the late Rosemary Ellen Guiley, who studied the jinn, always says, you know, don't sleep in a bedroom with mirrors. It's alright to have them in your bathroom, but don't sleep in a room with mirrors. There's nothing I can do about it. I didn't design this room. But anyway, I'm now going to. It must be about, what time is it now? Time's getting on. Yeah, so it's coming up to 10 o'clock, so I'm here nice and early. I just hope I sleep better than last night. Well, I'll let you know in the morning. Sleep well, guys. Night, night. It's a bit cooler today. Quite a bit of cloud up there. There's forecast even a bit of rain. Well, oh, come on, focus, that's it. Well, you'll be glad to know that last night I had the mother of all sleeps. Like I said, I went to bed almost as soon as I got in, went to sleep. And I just woke up about 8 o'clock. So it's about 10 hours. Is that 10 hours sleep, just under? Whoa, I must have needed it. So the protection spell I cast must have worked. So the evil entities, whatever they are, in this room, were banished. if that's what was causing my insomnia or my malaise, because it wasn't just insomnia last night, it was a malaise. I can't think of any other cause, because I've had no other reason. I felt fine before, on Friday night. I felt absolutely fine before I went to bed. It was only in the room I felt ill when I got out and went out. Apart from the lack of sleep, I actually felt quite good yesterday when I got out of the room. So, yeah, I'm glad to have caught up on it. Right. Well, it's day 2 ahead now, ladies and gents. I've got to get to my arse with St Anne's, and there's 4 other speakers. Or I think P&P are going to be on again, but then there's 3 new speakers as well. That's going to happen, and P&P, of course, will be doing a different talk to the one they did yesterday. I think it's something to do with, I think it's God's wife. I think they're going to talk a bit more about Mary Magdalene, because Lynn did write a book about that. Because Lynn has written a few books by herself without Clive. So she's written a few independently. I must say, are those 2 married? I'm not sure if they're married. Someone told me they're actually not a married couple, and they're just friends. I mean, it really is quite extraordinary that they have been writing books together for 35 years. It's very rare for an author collaboration to last that long. I mean, I know from my own experience of the literary world that if you write a book together with someone else, it's a recipe for trouble. It really, really is. Of course, it's rare for author collaborations to last more than maybe 1 or 2 publications, but P&P have written like dozens. They've literally written dozens of books together, so that's good. I'm pleased for them. Fascinating couple, or fascinating 2 authors. Very interesting ideas. Let's see what they have to say today, and then the other speakers I'll cover at the time. But there's someone talking about sounds, and there's somebody talking about the sound of a sound and how it's related. There's a guy who's been studying sort of echoes and the acoustics of megalithic sites, and Maria Wheatley mentioned this, I think, a couple of conferences ago, and it's very interesting. So and I can't remember the others, but we'll see when we get there. Anyway, I'm going to go and get the train again. Well, before I head off, I just realised I haven't done my room tour yet. Well, there's the cherry picture. You get them in all of them. Bed. I mean, what's there to see? It's a Travelodge room. I'm there in this building, and here is the room with the psycho shower and the rest of it. I mean, that's a sanitary bag, as Alan Partridge says. They know I'm a man. I keep loose Werther's originals in them. Actually, I don't have any Werther's originals, and of course, I'm not the only person staying here. So, anyway, yeah, it's a Travelodge, which is. It's actually considerably less posh than Premier Inn, even though it's only slightly cheaper. But I don't mind. I don't care really about poshness. This is the 2nd floor lift bay. I've just seen something, a very strange notice indeed. Now it's just using the lift here. And of course, it's got this here. They don't tell you. Usually they have like a warning saying no more than 4 people in the lift at a time or something. Do not use in the event of a fire, which of course you see here. But we have here, do not share the lift with others unless you are staying in the same room. Please try to keep a seat. This of course is archaic COVID regulation. So I don't know why it's still here. It's sort of stuck on really. You can't really take it off. Maybe it's there ready for the next COVID-like event. Anyway, here we go. I don't care if there's anyone in here or not, quite frankly.
This is Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Welcome aboard this Northern Service to Hull. The next station stop is Wild Gate. This is Squires Gate. Welcome aboard this Northern Service to Hull. The next station stop is St. Anne's-on-the-Sea.
very much. Thanks very much. We've got these little children's pictures here on the St Anne's station, which I think is really sweet. And I mean, it's funny, you know. It's like, that's just typical, I think. As is the home of the International Kite Festival. I mean, where else on earth, apart from Lytham St Anne's, could you have an International Kite Festival? It's all part of the sweetness of this place, I think. Okay, it's about 9:20 now, so I'm going to take a walk. I should get there when the doors open, about 9:30. It's starting a bit later today. Previously, if you remember, the doors opened half an hour earlier. So that's because there's not all the introductions to do, I suppose. Oh man, I'm just second and final day of the conference. Yeah, again, these conferences are never long enough. That's the thing. Never are they long enough. But it'll have to do. It's going to go up the steps now and head for the YMCA.
We hope to bring some. We intend to bring some to sell if you like what you hear, you want to know more. Thankfully, they could do some.
Not only will you not need to travel around the world in the future thanks to VR technology, and go to all these exotic spots in the globe and come from your armchair. Not only would you not need to, you won't want to, because the virtual reality experience will be augmented.
It's like when the machine stops.
Than the real thing by a way which most people have never experienced. As overdosing.
Well, I've just heard Greg Moffat. It's now lunchtime on the second day. That's definitely the best one so far. That was very, very good indeed. I'll say more obviously in my review, but I want to see if I can have a word with him. Sunday lunchtime at the YMCA during the conference has a unique atmosphere. I've had a jack and potato for dinner, but look at this. I found this book here, Hauntings by Neil Oliver. And it is actually, believe it or not, yes, it is the Neil Oliver. Look, it's him. The same as GB News, the voice of the nation, the guy who one of the best commentators on TV at the moment, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that's I heard he was into paranormal stuff as well, which is really, it sort of fits. I think it's part of what Michael Barkin, the skeptic, called in his rather patronising way the cultic milieu. So if you're into sort of like sort of radical politics like he is and non-conformist kind of dissent, you're more likely to be interested in the paranormal, that kind of thing, because it sort of fits together. That sort of thing. It's lovely. It's just 2 more speakers and it's all over. Oh dear. I might leave before the end actually, just because I hate the feeling of when it's all done, when it's all finished. I just hate that feeling. The weather has turned a bit wet and grimy, which is a bit well, that's a bit difficult, you see, because unfortunately, hi Miriam. Hello, it's Miriam. Hi. Are you staying tonight, this evening?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, good. I think we're going to number 15 at the end of this. Yeah, I think we're all going to number 15. Yeah.
Okay. Would like. Nice.
Yes, I got that free with the book I bought. I'll show you later. I'll show you.
Good for you.
Take it easy. The problem is, like, I haven't brought my raincoat with me. I didn't think I needed it, so I left it in the hotel. I brought my raincoat, but anyway, it might stop raining later on. But yeah, I'll leave before the end. I'll leave before the end, and I'll do a kind of disappearing act. You know, just because I hate the atmosphere. But we'll go to number 15, like I said, to Miriam, have a drink there. And then after that, off for a meal somewhere. Now, traditionally, post-pro, we go to the... we go to this... what's it called? You know, I forgot the name of the I forgot the name of the thing. Is it not the Taj Mahal? It's a curry house. It's a very nice curry house anyway, and they do a really good meal there. So that's where we go traditionally. But you know, if no one else is around, I go back to the Carvery, because I mean that's bloody brilliant. What they do at the Carvery is fantastic. The rain's quite nice. There's the seagulls. One thing you got to know, if you don't live near the sea, you got to realise this. And I found this out when I went to Dorset. Seagulls in some areas can be very aggressive. They will, especially if you have food. If you have food, they will come. They'll come. I mean, all birds like scavenge. One there looking hungry, got a hungry look in his eye. All birds will scavenge, obviously, but seagulls will actually come approach you when you have your food. Now, they'll even try and snatch it off you. You may have seen the video of a seagull going into like Tesco's or someone and grabbing some sandwiches off the stall. Yeah, they will. If you're sure walking along eating fish and chips, for example, they will sometimes fly down and try and grab out your hand. Yeah, and they're very, very bold birds, much tougher than say pigeons and things like that. So that's worth bearing in mind if you're not used to the sea, you never go near the seaside, and you find yourself there. That was certainly the case when I had a meal with Bonica and Neil in Dorset, in this place, very nice place, like a shopping centre, sort of farm centre and things like that. These seagulls started hovering around. As soon as we turned out with the food, seagulls started looming around, so we went indoors. You know, afternoon session starting soon.
Churches and buildings, and of course, again, that protects the building by channeling the light energy into the ground and into the earth. Here we go. This is the rune I mentioned earlier to do with the Nazis, the sigil, which means the sun. So there's an S.
Okay, guys. I'm leaving the YMCA now. Before the end, like I do sometimes. I'll say more later. And now I'm going to have to go to number 15. I haven't got my bloody raincoat with me, haven't I? And this is forecast to last all evening. So what a day to forget your jacket anyway. So I'm going to get pretty wet, and I'm not going to film on the journey. All right. And here I am. Cricket on. That's good. Yeah, I'm at the number 15. I left the venue early. I walked through the rain. They gave me a free drink because I told them I'm the wet T-shirt act. Yeah. What did I? Anyway, I mean, number 15 is one of the classic stops on the great Lytham St Anne's Pro Lip Lapis tour. We always come in as tradition, usually on the Sunday. Tony often does the pub quiz, which is coming up later. But I just come in here. I left early, and so I can sit here and watch the cricket for a bit. Is that Trent Bridge? I mean, the weather looks very nice. I think maybe an old match. I don't know, but I don't know exactly who's playing. England and India, I think. I've been keeping up with it. It was still Sri Lanka, India and Sri Lanka. England and Sri Lanka. I think it's somewhere else. I don't know. I'll look it up in a minute. Anyway, I love a bit of cricket, mate. I love it. I've got. I left before the end, as I sometimes do, because the atmosphere when the conference is over is just bloody miserable. I hate it. It's just, I've got to go back to bloody normality. And I hate that feeling. You get the post-pro blues, which of course always wears off after a while, but that's why I've left a bit early. So, and I'll catch up with my friends later, hopefully. I know they're going across to the Signal. What's it called? It's the Signal Box. I don't know what it's called now. The pub by the railway station. They're going there later, so I'll catch up with them. Probably, I'm thinking maybe going to the Toby Carvery again, or maybe eating with them. I'm not sure. In the meantime, I've got the cricket to watch. That's going well. I looked it up actually, and it is actually a test match, and it's at the Oval in London. Looking at that, just goes to show how different the weather can be in just a short distance. I mean, look at that. Be 100 odd miles away. It's like that. Look what it's like here. Well, welcome back to St Anne's Seafront. This is the way to enjoy a British seaside holiday, isn't it? In the pouring rain, wearing nothing but your t-shirt. Oh, guys, I've got another soak-in. I went to have dinner on the trawl boat, not the trawl boat, the Salters Wharf, and I came back and I got another soak-in. I'm in this pub now, which it used to be called the Signal Box. I don't know what it's called now. Didn't look. 2 of the trains this evening are cancelled. 2 of the trains to Blackpool are cancelled, which means there's a replacement bus which leaves like 20 minutes later, if that even turns up. I mean, when trains get cancelled, it's obviously because of the rain. Trains cancelled for rain. That's never used to happen until just a few years ago. I mean, it's not been raining particularly. The rain we've had is not particularly excessive. It's been hard, but it's not been excessive. Yeah, it's just messing up the trains. What's happened? What's happened to this country? Well, hello everyone. It's 3:30 in the morning. I'm up again, as sometimes happens. Last night when I was at the Signal Box, that pub used to be called. No, I never checked to see what it's called now. I'm out with Tony and Miriam, and we had a couple of drinks, and then I went home. It was a bit of a not a very good journey home. I didn't film any of it. Sorry about that, but I was just annoyed and wet, and I didn't want to damage the camera, so I didn't film it. But I had to wait for a replacement bus service. It turns out that it wasn't the weather that caused the 2 trains to be cancelled. It was actually industrial action. But which means there's an overtime ban. Which was only one train went, which was at 9:05. So I missed the replacement service. Never turned up, so I had to wait another half hour in the rain. And eventually, the train did turn up, but it was just, when I got to Blackpool South, it was just a short walk to this hotel. So I did get pretty wet. My t-shirt's still wet. But that teaches me a lesson. Don't forget your raincoat. Check the weather forecast before you go out, Ben. I do it when I go to work, so why did I not do it now when I'm on holiday? Anyway, I thought I'd run through the speakers for you for yesterday, and they were really good. I mean, the speaker quality was higher, actually, even though both days are good. The speaker quality yesterday was brilliant. Firstly, P&P, right, yeah. They did their talk about the Da Vinci Code, and I mean, I've got nothing against them in terms of the interest they arouse in me, as they do many other people with some of their work, because they are a pair of great researchers. But yesterday's talk I did have some problems with it. But firstly, Lynn got up and said, "When God Had a Wife." This was Lynn Pickness. Lynn Pickness has written a book on her own, which she sometimes does. When God Had a Wife, and it's got the fall and rise of. I can't remember the entire title. I filmed a bit of it anyway, so you can see. But it refers to it's a book about the sacred feminine in Abrahamic religion, and specifically Judeo-Christian. I mean, as far as I know, this book does not cover Islam, which would probably be a subject in itself. But it probably would be a bit. But this just covers Judaism and Christianity. Whether you can actually discuss those two things without addressing Islam, maybe you can. Anyway, we'll assume you can for the purpose of this conversation. She refers to the fact that the way religion in the world today is very different to how it was a couple of thousand years ago when these religions were founded, such as when the Jews first emerged in the Holy Land. According to the Bible, they escaped from Egypt and established a kingdom in Canaan, etc. But she said that there was
that at the time there was the idea of the god was connected to that of the goddess as well. So, and she says that this is not a new idea. In fact, there's a book called The Hebrew Goddess, which was written about 50 or 60 years ago. But she said that the idea of the goddess in the Christian and Judaic and Christian and Jewish world can be divided into two segments: academic versus mind, body, spirit. And she said there was a word called Kadesha, a Hebrew word, which actually originally meant holy woman, priestess, but it has been mistranslated as prostitute, which is interesting because, of course, Mary Magdalene, the role Mary Magdalene plays in the conventional Gospels is of a prostitute. Yet, of course, from the Nag Hammadi Gospels and from, I think it was from the Dead Sea, I don't know the Dead Sea Scrolls, because someone else mentioned the Dead Sea Scrolls later on, which I'll come to, but certainly from the Nag Hammadi Gospels, there was a Mary Magdalene, of course, has a very different role, and as we said yesterday, she was Jesus' wife, but possibly also a priestess in his group. But so that would fit with that. In the past, they were polytheists. See, for example, one of the Ten Commandments is you must have no. God says you will have no God but me, and we know the story about how Moses, when he went out for a little bit on the razzle or something, and he came back with his men. He came back and found that he came back and found that the people were worshipping a golden calf. Do you remember that story in the Bible? So the thing is, though, if you must have no God but me, but then if God makes this demand of us and he says you can have no God but me, presumably other gods exist. This is very different from the Shahada in Islam, which says there is none but the Shahada is the foundation of Islam, and it's a single sentence: there is none but the one God, and Muhammad is his prophet. It's actually written on the flag of Saudi Arabia. But according to that, you will have no God but me means there's lots of them out there to choose from, but you can only choose me. That's what God was saying. And I know the story of Elephantine Island. Now, this is an island in the River Nile in Upper Egypt. I know about this because apparently it was I think it was called Khnum. This cult, this calf cult. Ralph Ellis talks a lot about this because he says it's symbolic of the age of Taurus. He believes these are symbols of the astrological ages. But according to this is where goddess worship actually survived. In the underground and in Sumeria, there was apparently goddess worship never went away in this world, in this religious world. It just went underground, which is very similar to in a way, that's a kind of plot of the Da Vinci Code, in that there's this conspiracy within the church which has been running for the centuries, and the Prior of Sion, etc. This is very similar in a way. And she says this is well. I'm going to have some criticisms of this, but the first thing she says is the patriarchy. She actually uses the word patriarchy at one point. Had to have a goddess in the end, a kind of controlled opposition in order to control women. So they turned one of the goddesses into a daughter rather than a wife. Because. I mean, it's true that mythology is simply a story, and it changes and can be controlled, and from the top down it is often altered. I accept that. And sometimes it's done for very distinct political reasons. I mean, the Bible we see today has been edited and translated so many times, and very often edits are made for the purposes of political expediency, shall we say. St. Jerome and his alterations to the Bible, things like that. But she said this to make the goddess a daughter rather than a wife. It kind of makes her non-sexual, like the Virgin Mary, because of course the Virgin Mary is a goddess-like figure, especially in Roman Catholicism, who's essentially a non-sexual one. She's a virgin. I personally don't believe that story myself. I'm not a Christian, but I expect Jesus was conceived in the usual way, and Joseph was his father. That's my own view. But she also says that sexual women in this particular brand of religion were portrayed as connected with seduction and death as well. This essentially is saying that the kind of the maleist religion of the time essentially had sexual hang-ups. I think that's what she's implying. She never actually said it as such. I'd have to read her book to find out. But and indeed, it wasn't just Lynn Picknett who was actually talking. Obviously, like she always does, she and this is not just her talking. I think the first bit was actually spoken by Clive Prince, a co-author. Actually said the first bit. So I should actually point out that the first part of this talk was done by Clive Prince, who's very much on the same page as her. But she says there have been backlashes led by Simon Magus, who said who reversed the church's policy on that by having by promoting a feminine goddess, and he believed that the world was flawed because of the non-feminine element of it. John the Baptist also apparently was kind to women, and apparently Magdalene, as in Mary Magdalene, this was always thought to be a nickname, or just a name, Mary Magdalene. The meaning of the name Magdalene is actually quite important, especially seeing as I come from Oxford, because it exists in Oxford under the college called Magdalen College. It's actually pronounced Magdalen in Oxford, but it's written Magdalene. It apparently means Great Helen, and Helen was a goddess figure. And again, she quotes Simon Peter, who says, "Women are not worthy of life." Blimey, he was a first century MGTOW. And then she asks, again, this is connected, there's the academic mind, body, spirit split when this. But she believes that the goddess has returned. Indeed, Ellis Taylor often talks about the rise of the goddess, or the return of the goddess at some point. Indeed, that the title of the book includes the word "the fall and rise" of the goddess, not the rise and fall. As if we're entering a new era now, a new age, to quote that phrase, in which there is a god and goddess figure, like a balance of male and female. Now, I must say, although I agree with the need for a balance of male and female, the Tao, if you want, as the Chinese call it, the balance of the yin and yang, I am concerned about how this whole idea has been and will be exploited by modern Western secular feminism, which has got nothing to do with any goddess worship. It's got nothing to do with any spirituality. It is a degenerate form of mind control invented by cultural Marxists. And unfortunately, I don't know about Clive Prince, but based on what Lynn Picknett was saying, I think she's been influenced by that stream. She used a lot of cliches, the very word patriarchy. She used a lot of cliches that suggested she's been influenced in that way. And so I think it's important. I mean, even though I can't disagree with what she said about how the gods are male, and how there's the way that women have been treated in these various countries, and I should add in Islamic theocracies as well. I mean, that's an important point we shouldn't let go. That there is a mistreatment of women. There was a mistreatment of women in the ancient world, and in some parts of this world there is. However, that sentiment, I even hesitate to express that sentiment, despite the fact that I agree with it, because I know how it will be exploited and abused by this warped political agenda, which his intention is to create a new world order by controlling people's minds, by filling white men full of guilt and weaponizing women against civilization. I've talked about this many, many times. So that's the impression I got from the speech, especially Lynn, when she was speaking. She was very expressive in this way. Greg Moffat, I think, was probably I'd say he was the best speaker of this conference. He does the Legalised Freedom podcast. I've actually listened to that a couple of times. He's a guy from Northern Ireland. and he described his talk was called "The Sound of the Stones: Psychoacoustics," and he had excuse me, he had this phrase. What was the phrase? We live in a world dominated by prehistoric engineering. In other words, what we see around us is the product of people, the builders of civilizations long gone and that have left no records. None that we know of anyway, that haven't been classified by the government. And he mentions the book View Over. This is a line from the book called View Over Atlantis from 1969. Can't remember the name of the author. He did mention the name of the author. I know the book. And Nikola Tesla talked about how sound and vibration is the centre of the whole. How to understand the universe. And he says that modernity. I mean, I should point out, when afterwards I spoke to him privately and asked him about Tartaria, he says he doesn't believe it, it's a load of nonsense. Now, I'm not so sure about that, however, I do not believe in the flat earth, as you know, I'm not a flat earther. Excuse me, why am I, it's still quite late at night and I'm still quite tired. I've just done my sort of wake up in the middle of the night thing. It's not necessarily insomnia if I can get back to sleep. Modernity is a constant cacophony. Cacophony is cacophony is actually a brilliant word. It means nasty noise. And it means everywhere around us there is unpleasant noise. And there's no way you can be silent. Nowhere. There's no place where you can really be silent. When was the last time you heard silence? Total silence. And where you can just sit and be quiet and peaceful, or just have the sounds of nature around you. Most people don't even experience that. There's also this, and then he echoes something that Andy Thomas said: stress. There's stress everywhere. So everything is designed to break our spirit. Andy Thomas said, and he put it the fact that everything is designed to make us stressful. You know, we go to frantic jobs. What's that line from? There's that line from the film Contact. That brilliant line. We have we have mindless jobs we hate. We take frantic vacations to holidays and things like that. But we feel more empty and cut off from each other than ever before. And there's also informational noise, and I think the abundance of information has. In a sense, the internet's been a very good thing, for example, because it gives us access to endless information. But there's now an abundance problem, so sorting out the wheat from the chaff has become a massive problem. I've made this point myself, and he does too. And he thinks that a lot of people are afraid of silence. And when he said this, it was very interesting. This was very interesting. He said that people are actually afraid of silence. I remember an incident in my hospital when I was in theatres where there was what actually happened on night shift. Very often people used to sleep on night shift. We're not supposed to technically. We're not, unless you're on call. If you're on duty, you're not supposed to sleep. But people did. They would like lie down in the restrooms and in our porter's lodge we used to as well. And so at one point I switched the television off when everyone was lying down to sleep, and someone turned to me. I think he was an ODP. He turned to me and he said, "Do you mind putting the TV on? Just put it on as a low volume, just so it's playing in the background." So this is a guy who couldn't even sleep unless there was some kind of noise, something playing in the background. The TV just playing quietly in the background. Strange, that, isn't it? He talks about Graham Hancock and Michael Cremo about this is Greg Moffat. He mentions how they've written books about, and fascinating books about, how we've been lied to about our past. I'd say Michael Cremo is far more extreme than Graham Hancock, because Michael Cremo talks about how humans used to hunt dinosaurs and things like that. So yeah, it's quite extraordinary. He mentions the thing about the expanding Earth, which is often been used to explain continental drift, and how there used to be lower gravity. And Andrew Johnson talks about this, about how on the small Earth there was some of the dinosaurs, they reckon, wouldn't have been able to actually stand up. on the Earth, because if the force of gravity was the same back then as it is now. So has the force of gravity changed? If so, how does that happen? Andrew thinks it's simply to do with the angular direction of the gravitational flux. Because when something is small and the horizon is lower, there's less gravitational pull because it's pulling from a smaller angle. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how much difference that would make. But there's this guy who believes that the Earth used to be small and was expanded. I mean, how that happened, I don't know. I mean, is it been filling with material underground? How's that happened? How can the Earth fill with material like that? Certainly, if someone says, well, maybe it's meteoric bombardment that's gradually built up, like it's gradually, it's like something like a snowball that's gradually gathered more pieces as it rolls through the cosmos in the forms of meteors and things. That doesn't make sense. There's not enough material. We're talking about, like, from the Cretaceous 65 million years plus ago to now, the Earth has like doubled in size. Where's that material coming from? It must be filling up from the inside. How? But still, I mean, if the evidence is there, it needs explaining. He talks about Atlantis. Oh, the origins of singing and music. About how it's the expression of simply the joy of living, which is where a lot of art comes from. And the bicameral mind, he talks about the bicameral mind, left versus right. The bicameral mind is different from the left versus right hemisphere, like what Ian McGilchrist talks about. The bicameral mind suggests that we have like two minds, and people used to be able to hear the voice in their head. They used to actually have conversations with like a voice in their head. People do that now. We call them crazy, but in those days, people used to have conversations with. And this has been used to explain some of the experiences people had in the past, as reported in the Bible, of hearing the voice of God. I mean, Moses saw a burning bush, and he didn't just like pray; he had a conversation with God. Yeah. The hum is one. Now, the hum's very interesting, you know, where people hear the strange noise and it has weird properties. Is it a natural part of the world? Is it supernatural? Is it industrial? Is it military? There's some evidence to suggest it's connected with military bases and especially transmissions, for example, radar, very powerful radars and things like that. There's some evidence to suggest, isn't it? There's a connection there. Funnily enough, there is a monitoring station in Greenland which measures infrasound, very low frequency sound. It is very interesting. And he mentions the cathedrals. Now, if you want to know more about what the cathedrals and acoustics of the cathedrals and things like that, I recommend my video York, which, as the title suggests, is about York. It's one of the best videos I've ever done, I think. I was helped by Lily Brunton, the local historian. A brilliant video. I'm very proud of that one. But he mentions there's been some weird music. I mean, obviously music is important. There's been some weird concerts. For example, Pink Floyd did a performance in this old Roman amphitheatre at Pompeii, which was destroyed by a volcanic eruption, as you know, as is famous in history. This was in 1971. There was no audience, though. It was simply done. It was essentially a movie. It was done in front of a film crew. It was actually broadcast in cinemas, but no live audience was invited to watch. You can watch it on YouTube if you want. It's a good concert. So why is that? And Tangerine Dream did the same thing. Now, Tangerine Dream, in Coventry Cathedral, which is a new one. It was the original one was destroyed in the Blitz, but there's a new one. In 1975, it was built in the 50s. In 1975, Tangerine Dream did a concert there. Now, they're in a German synth band. The Germans are good at this. The Germans are good. In the 70s, the Germans had some great synth bands, you know, like Kraftwerk and Landscape, and Tangerine Dream was one of these. They did a concert there, and it was very similar. There was no audience. And Hawkwind did a concert at Stonehenge in 1984. It's very rare that they allow people to do that. Sorry, 1984, that was. That's odd. Brilliant, fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff from Greg Moffat. I'll have to
listen to his podcast a bit more, I think. Right, Catherine Monks, she had a stall with all kinds of jewellery. I showed it to you earlier, the stall with all like the jewellery and the astrology stuff on it. And she talks about the Holy Land and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and how there was how it differs from the Bible that we know of. And apparently there was this thing called the study of thunder, called brontology, in those days. And she talks about astrology, and how there was other things along with the Dead Sea Scrolls at Qumran, including buried treasure maps, which is interesting. And she talks about the Book of Enoch and how James Bruce went to find the source of the Nile. And yeah, there was the Hieronymus. You've seen the Hieronymus Bosch painting, The Garden of Earthly Delights. It's like, well, there's like 3 parts to it. There's like a hell segment, and there's like the earth. There's the heavenly segment. There's the earth segment. It's a famous painting by a famous Dutch artist. And what's this bit? So I'm having trouble. I didn't write something of Adam. Something to do with Adam. What did I write here? Anyway. Oh, right, I'll show you the creation of Adam. Now, this is an interesting painting it's a painting, it's part of a mural by Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. Beautiful, one of the greatest work of art in history. I often use it in my, to explain the coincidence theory that skeptics keep coming up with. Yeah. It's got a picture of God holding out his hand. It's a very famous image, and Adam is sort of reclining, and he's holding his hand out to God like that, and God is pointing at his hand. God is sitting inside a cloud that looks like a human brain. It's very interesting, and some people have said that putting symbolism in there, the way that Leonardo da Vinci did, as we found out yesterday. I found out on Saturday. Yeah, I don't know. No, she points out that in the past she believes people lived longer. Now this is always interesting because it's famously, if you look at the chronology, there's like a chronology in the Bible, which refers to the bloodline of this is repeated in the Gospels where it refers to the bloodline of Jesus, but it to explain why he's the king of the Jews. But earlier on in the Bible, it talks about some of the figures in the Bible and how long they live. And it's extraordinary because they live like many times the length in terms of human lifespan that we do today. And the most famous one is Methuselah, who died. Well, there's a Greek translation, there's the original Hebrew, which gives slightly different numbers for some reason. But according to this Bible, Methuselah was close to 1,000 years old when he died. And very famously, Sarah, the wife of Abraham, she had a child at the age of 73. In fact, there's actually a point in the Bible where she protests to God when God tells her she must have a child, and she says, "But I'm old and I'm infertile and I'm frigid. I can't have a baby. I'm an old woman." And God says, "Don't worry, Sarah, I'll take care of that." And so. Is that true? Is that a real? I mean, this is always thought to be just a folly of the Bible, one of the things that were wrong in it. Or did people actually really used to live much longer than they do now? Is it possible? I mean, Catherine thinks so, you know. And she mentions this thing that's come up before, like that. Again, this ties in with what the P&P was saying about the editing of the Bible. The Elohim. Now, this word appears in the early Bible in the book of Genesis. It's a plural word because it has im at the end, I-M. In Hebrew, that's you add im at the end of the word to form a plural. The same way in English we add an S at the end. And like thinker, thinkers, Elohim, they're called the Elo and Elohim. You get it with cherubim and seraphim as well. This was the word that was used for God in the book of Genesis. So when I say when God created the earth, the real translation is when the Elohim created the earth and things like that. And it also talks about the Nephilim. The Nephilim, the sons of the Elohim. And there's that famous line from Genesis chapter 12. The Elohim saw
the daughters of men, saw that they were fair, and took of them many wives, who gave them many heirs, who became the wise men of renown. Implying that there's some kind of, in modern language we would say, that aliens interbred with humans to create a bloodline which is the kind of elite royal bloodline. It's a weird thing. I mean, it's weird. It's very odd, that, isn't it? Yeah. Why do they change Elohim to God? There's William Blake's depictions of angels. William Blake was a very wise man. Neil Haig has talked a lot about William Blake, a very interesting guy. And apparently in China there's books of giants, and indeed Catherine mentioned the bones of the giants that have been found in various parts of the world, especially the western United States, which I've talked about. I mentioned this in my video Meadows, where I actually visited that region, and there were people there, the Shoshone Nation, the Amerindians, who have legends of 12-foot tall humanoids. You might think it's just them making up stories, but they found them. They found the bones. The Smithsonian Institution have locked them up, and they're not, and they've been kept secret. They found a huge graveyard of these things, not far from Las Vegas, actually, a few decades ago, and the skull is like twice the size of a modern human skull. There's a picture of one. It's got a little, like a coin next to it for scale. Other genetic experiments were done in the past by essentially were we subjected to some kind of hybridization of various kinds. Don't know. It's are there giants alive in the world today? I mean, it's great. There's a book called Uriel's Machine. I've heard a lot about this, which I've not read. And there's also areas of the world mentioned in ancient texts which relate to Orkney, the Orkney Islands, Newgrange in Ireland, and Stonehenge. Very interesting talk there by Catherine Monks. Fascinating stuff. And then Kevin Rowan Druitt was the last one, and I got less out of it. I found this one not boring, but less. I got less out of this one, but I still watched it with interest, because he talks about the connection between the astrology and the runes. I mean, there's the Futhark alphabet, which is a script. It's actually an ancient script used from Scandinavia, and there's a few inscriptions of it left. I mean, unfortunately not as much as we'd like, because as I explained yesterday, written records have actually, ironically, they will say, write it down so you remember it. You know that phrase, and this is why I make notes, write them down so you remember it. But ironically, written records do not endure as long as the spoken word. That is the verbal transmission of information over time. And the reason is because, of course, paper, wood, a lot of material, I think, has been written on paper and wood, and it hasn't lasted. Only stone inscriptions last. I'll say more about that tomorrow when I do the souvenirs, because there is actually ancient carvings, even in Britain, which implies possibly that the people at the time had a written language. They may have created paper or written on wooden tablets and things like that, and they just gone. Yeah, but apparently there's a connection between the figures of the runic script and astrology. And I mean, it's interesting, people tie astrology into all kinds of things. Funnily enough, the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, the various books have been associated with the planets. Even letters of our script, the script we use, which is the Roman script, so the Latin script, the Roman alphabet, the Latin script, have been linked to astrology and things like that. And the playing cards have been linked to astrology, and of course the tarot as well. But even normal playing cards have been linked to astrology. And of course the runes have been used in modern kind of, like there's in neo-paganism, for example, the Nazis used them, but they also appear in the Golden Dawn, and indeed J.R. Tolkien has used them in The Hobbit. I remember there's runes in The Hobbit book. This was even though The Hobbit was set in an imaginary world, it was based on ancient Europe. And again, I appreciated Kevin doing this because in this day and age, even talking about this, it's politically incorrect. Even people wearing runes and things like that are called like fascists. They're called racists. If you're a white person and you wear one of these runes, they think you're obviously a hater of non-white people and things like this. So it's obviously Kevin. I mean, he's obviously, if you see him talking, he's a very nice sounding man. I don't think he hates anyone, but in this day and age, when it comes to racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, and things like that, it's one of these things you can be it even when you're not it, and that doesn't make any sense to me either. But that's what people say. Anyway, the Sunday speakers were fantastic. They're really brilliant, and this is one of the best days in terms of speaker quality that I've ever seen at a conference. So I'm very glad to have been there. I'm glad I got much more sleep last night, so I could enjoy them properly without dropping off. So on subject of dropping off, I've got to try and do that now before I get up in the morning to go home. Alright guys, your favourite bit for most of you. It's souvenirs. First of all, my wristband. Always a good souvenir, that. Yeah, Mysterious Earth. There's a pen. That's it, there's another pen. Someone actually gave me, there were spare pens left at the hotel. They actually gave me them because you remember I forgot my pens the first time round. My glasses. That is a razor. Yeah, I remembered it this time. It's coming, maybe my beard's growing quicker these days, Yeah, weird. Don't know why that is. It got a bit wet yesterday, so it's slightly dog-eared and a bit broken because it got wet in my bag. John Billingsley, Legend of the Folkmore of Todmorden. That's an event that's already gone, but it's still nice to have this. There's some details there, which you can pause and read if you want. Looks good. Looks interesting. Look out for future events. That's a book by Thomas Sheridan and Sarah Mondaini. Hocus Pocus. That looks good. Signed, of course, I think I showed you this earlier. Signed by the authors. Yeah. And this was really expensive actually, it's £25, but I couldn't resist it. This is this guy, Peter Jankowski. This is his book. Oh, and they got there's a few little cards in there as well. Oh man. That looks good. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? It looks lovely. Ellis Taylor would love this too, yeah. That is my reading book, which I brought with me. Again, quite good, but I have my criticisms of it. This is first thing I got from Penny, the Tartarian Empire, which is really interesting stuff. The strange steps that lead nowhere and things like that. This is another thing here. How to boost your immune system, detox. I'm doing that at the moment actually, and there's the backs. There's the other side of it. Yeah. Origins. That's a Bouverie Hall, where the basis, home of the Basis Project, 2nd of November. I don't think I'm going to get to that, but it looks bloody interesting. And here's one of the stills from that guy Jankowski. His artwork. Neil MacDonald's Megalithic Tours. This was a giveaway on his stall. Gives you some details of his various trips. I know a few people are doing a trip very soon. He's in Menantol then. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, you can go on various tours. I wouldn't mind going on one of those. Zeo Chakra Well of Dreams. That's another thing from Penny. Yeah, nice. That is my phone charger. No, that's my camera charger. This is my phone charger, which I haven't had to use this time actually. My phone has got a good battery on it, my phone. That's moisturising cream, which I need a lot. That's to hold my supplement pills. And that is my Truth Seekers Northeast notebook, which is only like half full after using it for several years. And that is a toothbrush. And that is this particular trip's souvenirs. Good morning everyone. There's actually a souvenir I forgot to mention, which is this one. That was given to me by Mr. Jankowski when I bought his book. He gave me that for free, which is lovely, very nice of him. Alright guys, it's sort of, the rain has stopped, but it's still actually quite dull. It's actually quite chilly. So I should have brought my
think I should have brought my hoodie with me or another jacket. That's where it is actually going to turn autumnal actually in the next couple of days, which is going to be good for some people, I think. Rhiannon will be relieved. I've got to go back home, back to the so-called real world. You know, I mean, there's a bit of a backslapper element, I think, to this. You know, it's reality, man, but I can face it, man. I can face reality. Look at me, man. Look at how superior I am because I can face reality. You know, sort of. It's a category of backslapping. Oh, it's a bit windy too. Yeah, I'm going to head up to Blackpool South Station for the last time on this trip, though I do hope to return. As I said, I'm in love with St Anne's and the YMCA, and I will come back, because I'm sure it's not the last event, the last sort of woo-woo event that's going to be held there. So yeah, I look forward to future events at the YMCA very, very much indeed. So time for that long fallback into conformism and Normieville now. So be with me, guys. Hold my hand and help me walk through all this. It's seriously, you know, the post-conference blues is a thing. It doesn't last long, but it's a thing. It's quite intense while it lasts. Hope you can hear me. So onwards and upwards to Blackpool South Station.
Preston. The next station stop is Arnsdale and Fairhaven.
By St Anne's. It's always a sad moment when you leave St Anne's behind. That's the real moment when you know the slow, disgusting, creepy descent into normality has begun. Never mind. I've got to, I always say, decompress slowly. I've got Dr. Michael Salla crooning in my ears. I'll make sure I read my Area 51 book, and so not too bad really, is it? Now I've got to wait for the next train, which is coming soon. Will I even get a seat? I tell you, if I can't get a seat, I'm going to lie on the fucking floor. That's what I hate about rail travel, I really do.
We are sorry that the 10:06 Trans-Pennine Express service to Glasgow Central is delayed by approximately 17 minutes. This is due to a fault on this train. We apologise.
Technically, I'm sitting in a reserved seat. It's only reserved to crew, which is like 2 stops away. So if anyone comes along and wants it, well, I've warmed it up for them, but no one has. It's only 2 stops, so I'm just going to sit here. Oh man! And next time I'll just get the coach. I'll stay overnight, get the coach, I think. Oh, railways, eh? Station. Okay. Well, I'm on the bus now from Oxford Station to where I live. I could walk it, being an ex-hospital porter, but I decided to treat myself, get the bus. So I'm going to do that. Well, it's back to normality now. I keep repeating myself, don't I? But it is. But until the next interesting thing I have to do, which will probably be sometime online this evening. Anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you, Panmo TV viewers, for accompanying me on this sentimental journey back to the St Anne's and the brilliant Mysterious Earth Conference. Thank you for watching Panmo TV. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.